What's going on, everybody, and welcome into episode 140. That's right, 140 of these fucking things. I don't know how I put up with all you assholes. I don't. I really don't. I don't. And I'm giving up a Friday night. I could be out there fucking running the streets. Running the streets, but I'm stuck here with you ugly fucks, and that fucking thing behind Tony.
Mama Enigma's birthday was yesterday, and I had to fucking spend time with her. She's my mama. I'm sorry.
Look. We all love Mama Enigma. We all love Mama Enigma. But I'm just saying that send time, right, trumps everything else. If any of you motherfuckers give up time with me, there better be a damn good reason. I'm just saying. And I include people in chat. Just saying that. Yeah.
It's true. So I heard it here first. If you're not in the podcast right now, you better send your reasoning.
Yeah.
You better send your reasoning right now.
No, you're dead to me. You're dead to me. It's over. Okay. You're dead to me. It's over. Anyway, welcome everybody. I kid. I love you all. I kid. Welcome in. It is Friday. We normally do these on Thursdays, but you know, we had, like Enigma said, his madre wanted to have a birthday party. So happy belated birthday to Mama Enigma from the pre-patch crew. But
she had a good night.
Needless to say, we are still holding it down. We got a 4-man crew. We actually subbed out Scruffy for Bill, so we get Bill two weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Well, no, we subbed out Scruffy for the creepy thing behind Tony. That's eventually going to start talking in the middle of the podcast. Guaranteed.
Not.
Here's the thing is that the podcast really, you guys really can't see it because obviously the way the cameras are cut off and stuff like that. But you should go and watch his stream in there. And the entire time that I watch like Tony's stream or like now, like during it, it's very hard to concentrate on what's going on because I'm waiting for that thing to fucking move. Like you have it positioned so perfectly that it is just going to lunge out and kill you. You need to know that.
I hope not.
Kind of makes me nervous. It looks like something that can manipulate through the screen and jump into my camera.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I have to be.
I don't come in here, Darren. Well, you to be fair, like I've turned that light on and I could swear.
Bro, I throw hands.
Did it move?
Yeah.
Did it fucking move? It was in different position.
No, it was the air conditioner. We didn't say AC.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was the air conditioner.
Right.
That's what your mind tells you. Dude,
Air conditioning.
It's creepy as hell, man. That thing is honestly it's creepy. Do you guys like Halloween? Like, is Halloween like one of your guys' favorite times of year?
I'm a fan. I like it quite a bit.
I
don't do anything for it really, but
I don't do
scary movies. But
I don't like it because Halloween is the time of year where you get those creepy little fucking kid ghosts and shit, and I don't need it. I don't need that shit in my life. I don't need it. I get it as far away from me as possible, please.
That is funny. Well, I don't know. I don't mind it because I get to play like spooky games, and it's actually just recently that I've started to enjoy spooky games. I used to hate like I was not a huge fan of like the horror genre, but you know, Silent Hill 2 is really.
What was the shift?
I don't know. I guess I just got older. Like, you know, and also too, like
you were praising Dead Space last year and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It hasn't been too recent, has it?
I mean, I loved Silent Hill when I was a kid. So Silent Hill 2 to me was, you know, a really, really great game. I liked Resident Evil Code Veronica when I was a kid. Really wasn't a big fan of Parasite Eve. I know that's maybe blasphemous to a lot of people, but Parasite Eve was
Eve.
My game.
It's a different style horror though.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, I'm not gonna lie, like I think a lot of it is the fact that I play it with like lights on, fucking streaming. There's somebody else in the room with me that's chat, so I'm like not as much of a chicken shit.
Fair enough.
Also, too, the girl in fucking Silent Hill 2, the remake, she wants it so bad, bro. That's not even a horror film at that point. Like okay, just a quick spoiler for like 2 seconds. If you don't want to hear it, like you need to turn down the thing for like just literally like 5 seconds. But I'm gonna count it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. The girl, and Enigma knows because he was there, dude. The girl that you meet at the fucking dock that is sitting on like at the gazebo. I forgot. From Maria or I can't remember her name. Dude, so it is like obnoxiously in your face, throwing it at you. And then you go to a strip club and she's like, let's just rest for a second. She like turns the music on, starts dancing on a pole, and she's like, don't you just want to relax? And you're like, your character's just like fighting it the entire time. And I'm like,
She took him to a hotel
That's
and was like,
crazy.
don't you just want to wrestle? Doesn't this bed just make you want to wrestle?
Wild.
Let's go.
It's so
Given the
and-
context of the
and
game,
Sin-
it's
Stin was like, fuck yeah, let's go, baby.
That's what I'm
Let's
saying.
go.
I'm like, dude, fuck this. Fuck all this shit. I don't give a fuck about my wife anymore. She's been dead for 3 years. Who gives a shit? So in the video game, babe. I swear,
Clip
in the
that.
video game.
Clip that. Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, no, I don't know. So I think that's what's made the change. Is it's just been playing, with chat has been super enjoyable. So, have any of you guys been doing any kind of like horror games, horror streams?
kind of. It's a horror-ish game. I haven't been streaming much since my internet was out, but I started up a new playthrough of something for the
It's the same.
spoopy season.
It's the same thing for me. I haven't really been streaming as much. I tried to get in some horror. I was thinking about doing Demonologist and Silent Hill, but probably maybe who's to know? I don't know if I'll
Silent
do
Hill's
any.
well worth it. I don't know about Demonologist, but Silent Hill's well worth it. Well worth it for sure.
I might get one next week. I had one. It's the Steam demo days or whatever it's fucking
Steam
called.
Fest.
And there's a couple of there's
Yeah.
a couple of creepy
Oh.
demos. There was
What's
one that I
that?
wanted to try out.
What's that game that came out recently? A Quiet Place.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the Quiet Place
Oh
game.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's-
I'm considering that.
Everybody's so hyped up on that game about using the like audio out of your mic. I'm like, games have been doing that shit for years. There's so many
Yeah,
games.
they
didn't Alien do that? Or was
Yeah,
that
Alien
something else?
Isolation. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Did it
And
do
there's
that?
a few. There's one for the Connect that I can't remember.
Fucking Connect. Oh my god,
Yeah.
Connect. What a
Mhm.
throwback.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, even that new there's that it's a Unreal 5 game that uses like the fish-eyed look, kind of like Body Cam, but it's that horror game. Like that game used it too. Like and
Yeah.
it's super
Yeah.
popular now. But well, on the
Full
whole
immersion.
thing about spooky games, let's talk about some spooky games. And if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna throw mine up here first, as I have been playing.
Excuse me.
Can I get this image to go away? And my image okay. All right. You know what? Just everybody chat. Listen, we've done 140 of these episodes. Don't talk about it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear a word. We're not gonna talk about how we sat here talking about world events and everything like that
140.
versus me prepping up the episode. So there we go. All right. Now we're there. Okay. So this is a game called A Retro Horror Story. And I got it, through my work. Like I got a key and I wanted to give it a try. I need to fast forward because actually there was a bug that I went into the game and loaded in, and as soon as I loaded in, it made me lean to the left or right, and I couldn't unlean. So like I was
I
like,
thought that was the aesthetic.
I
was
for a long time too. I thought it was the
all
same thing. I was
for
like,
it.
what the fuck is going on? But no, that is not the aesthetic. That is literally just
You're actually playing the Hunchback of Notre Dame. He's just like
way the way the game is.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so the game, this is I want to make sure I'm showing the right one. There we go. So what you're seeing here, and the premise behind the game is that it's like Backrooms. If you guys have ever seen Backrooms, it's Backrooms.
Mhm.
Like literally you're just running through this, and I thought that there was going to be like guns and like you were going to kind of do like a Doom-esque, because it looks very like Doom and all that, and it's not. And so I played about, I don't know, like 20 minutes of this game. I was like, okay, I wanted to showcase and highlight it because there are a lot of people that really love like this style of like, hey, you're being chased, and you have to do puzzles, and like the whole premise behind it is, again, you're actually playing a like demonic video game, and inside that game you get kind of trapped in this, and I think that the whole, like, as you get further on, like the character comes out of the game and is actually chasing you, and what's real and what's not real and all that kind of stuff. But the whole thing is just you kind of going through these hallways and running around and trying to figure out, you don't have a map, you don't know where you're at, and you're just trying to figure out like where you need to go to unlock the next area and the next puzzle while being chased by this demon character.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
And everything looks the exact same.
No, I like these style games a lot. Honestly, whenever you first loaded up, I was like, holy shit, is he playing Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion? Because it kind of has that like feel to it. I don't know if y'all are familiar.
I've never heard of
I
it.
have never heard of that. No.
It's something similar to this. It's kind of SCP tied, where there's 1,000 rooms, and you kind of progress your way through, and different SCPs come out, and they have like different mechanics, and they chase you and stuff. So
Yeah.
it has that like style indie vibe to it. So I think I might actually look into this one and give it a try, because like I said, this is my wheelhouse when it comes to horror games. I enjoy the type of horror games that kind of take the power away from the player, and the fact that there's like no fighting back or anything. The only option is to hide or run.
Yeah. No, that's definitely it. Like you are again, you're solving these puzzles, and what you can't hear it because obviously we don't play the sound that's going on the stream, so it's not confusing, but like there's the monsters like constantly like screaming or whatever else, and then you will hear like the music kind of kick in.
Nope. Don't like that. Definitely don't like that.
And then you're just kind of like running, but you have to like solve these puzzles as being chased, and then also getting out of the line of sight. The only thing that I will say that about it that like I don't like the fact that there's no ability to change like some of the effects that go on the screen, because like as you saw in the very beginning, there was this like it went to like a staticky, it's supposed to like mimic like the old school CRT TVs, right, with static and all that kind of stuff. But it's really bright, and it does it like at really weird inopportune, in my opinion, times where it's just like almost, I mean, it literally is like painful. Like there's a lot of times where I had to like move my head because it was just so like bad, to almost to a point that it kind of made me nauseous, to where it was that much. And they don't have an ability, like there's no accessibility. I mean, the game's $3, but there's no accessibility option for you to kind of like change that. So I do think that like, I mean, it's a design choice, but just be mindful that if you are like prone to like flashing lights or those types of things, that it can become a little bit much. But all in all, I mean, again, it's $3 on Steam.
Definitely don't like that.
Yeah, I
don't like the tall man.
No, I don't like any of that, bro. The little kid with the fucking creepy fucking drawings and shit, and the little kid ghost like sitting in the hallway as you're walking down it. Fuck that shit, bro. No, thank you.
I mean, there's no like verbal audio, like as far as like no one's actually reading the lines, so there's no like dialogue. It's just sounds and things. And so you don't hear the kid like laughing or like at least speaking the lines or any of that, at least that I've seen yet. But I mean, you are like, the premise here is that the kid got trapped, was playing this game, got lost in the game, and then this creature basically took them, and then they were never found in real life, and then you found the game, and now you are playing it, and now you're here getting chased by this monster that is on the loose. So
horror Jumanji. Yeah, that's
yeah. And there's the guy. Now
Hi, tall man.
Yep. And he's chasing you, and you can like slip through these little holes, and he gets all mad, and then he'll like run around, and because again, me going into this game, I did not think that it was going to be. I thought there was combat, like I thought there was guns, so I'm like waiting to be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna fuck this thing up, and then I'm just like, wait a minute, I can't fucking fight back, so I'm just running the entire time. So like in the stream,
that's the best kind of horror game, though.
I'm like, this is bullshit, or whatever. And also because I'm trying to figure out this fucking map, and I'm like, god damn it, and so, but I don't know. But again, it's yeah.
I like I like the more psychological horror style of video games like that. They're the one that I was talking about that I'm probably gonna wait until next week to do is a psychological horror. It's like a CDPR, like cyberpunk psychological horror detective game. It looked kind of cool.
Nice. Well, this one you can get, it's made by Matt Hutchings, sorry. It's developed by VZoom Games, but it's published by VZoom Games, developed by Matt Hutchings, and you actually get a demo for it. So if you want to give it a try and see if it's your thing, you can get that. It's a demo right now, or you can get it for $2.99 on Steam. So if you want to go,
I dig the Steam demos these days. Like I feel like they've gotten inundated with demos as of late, and I'll fucking love it.
Yep.
They've come a long way.
All right, let's move on. So this is not a horror game. But I did play another game called Marco. What is it? Marco, what the fuck was this? This was Marco. Hold on one sec. Beyond Brave. That was it. This game I actually really dug a lot. You guys know that I love the Hollow Knight, Metroidvania, roguelite-esque style games. And this is one of them. Again, I got a key, full transparency. I was able to get a key through work for it. But this is one that I really enjoyed.
That mustache.
It gave me very Hollow Knight-esque vibes, but not as difficult as Hollow Knight. But the whole concept here is you're this character, you're kind of going through this adventure, and you're trying to basically kind of level yourself up, and enter whatever else. A creature comes in, things are bad, what the typical things. But what I loved about this, and to me, was just the art style. Like the art style alone, I really, 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 really loved, because it was just a really, like, I don't know, it's nothing unique, but it looks good. Like it looks good. It plays well, and you can level up your character. You've got the ability to to change out your weapons. They also are really pretty liberal with like the way that you are able to go in and respawn. So they use kind of like a campfire system, that's very reminiscent of, again, like your typical,
so it's a Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. But a lot of like Metroidvania games, they set you pretty far back. Like when you die, like you kind of have to really go all the way back through the world. Whereas with this one, you light these lampposts, and they will just send you back to that, and they're not very far. Like literally, you're gonna watch me die here, and I'm gonna go back, and it's literally right there. Like it's not very far at all. And there's not like a huge penalty for going to for dying. Like you don't lose your funds, at least that I've seen. I've not gotten super far into it, but you don't like I've seen you lose any kind of coins or anything like that. So it's the Metroidvania light. Like if you want to kind of first start getting into Metroidvanias, this is the one for you. But boss fights are really cute and fun. There's nothing, they're not like super difficult. They kind of have some easy mechanics to it, and then
this vampire's throwing you through a loop.
Yeah, well, I couldn't figure out what the fuck you're supposed to do. Like it doesn't, because you can't hit him, and I'm like, God damn it. And I'm thinking like, okay, he's gonna open his cloak, and then like you can hit him that way. But obviously, again, being a Metroidvania, they don't give you everything you need right out of the gate. So me and my stubborn ass is just like, no, I'm gonna figure out a way. So I'm like, cool, if I draw this fucking bat in that explodes and has a bomb radius, then I can fucking hit the thing, and then I can get through. And you'll watch it here. Nope, that's not the case. I just died. So it's just so I mean, but that's the fun of Metroidvania games. You're able to just kind of do what you want and experience it and try to beat the game in different ways. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about it, but it's a lot of fun. It's if you like Metroidvania games.
I mean, what's it called again? What's the name?
Marco, Marko Beyond Brave.
Nice.
So this game reminds me of Nine Souls. Nine Souls is another game just like this, Metroidvania, but I just advise everybody. It's like the same. It's the same stuff. It's the same stuff, but this is just one of those enjoyable games where it has Nine Souls has a parry system, so that's why I really loved it. But yeah, man, these games are really good. Did they have a story? Like a nice
yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not the best person that's going to tell you the story.
He ignored it. Yeah,
I definitely did not pay attention to what was going on in the story.
There's probably a story beat as to how he was supposed to fucking fight that vampire, and he completely ignored it.
No, I mean, I do. One of the cool things I think also about it is it's the whole like the style of it. It's what it's inspired by is like Slavic myths and legends, and that's not something that you see used a lot and like represented in a lot of video games. So cool, again, a cool setting, cool kind of the inspiration, what it's taken from, and but again, and this is made by Studio Mecha. This is their first game. That's my back BRB screen. But here's the story. I don't know. This is, if you want to know the story, here's the story. It's just the beginning cutscene. I was talking to chat as it was happening. But you can get it on sale right now, or it's $19.50 on Steam. The person that made it wanted to be under $20, and they said, okay, cool, we'll be under $20. So $19.50.
I was about to say $19.50 is an interesting price point, so that makes sense.
Yep. So
self-published too. So
yep, self-published as well. So Marco Beyond Brave. All right. Well, that wraps up my games. You guys gave me shit all the time for all the fucking games that I played, so I went ahead and only had 2. So Bill, you played a spooky game, I think, right? Vampire the Demon Doctor. I mean, was it spooky? Was it not spooky?
It's not the most spooky game, but it is a very good game and one that I highly recommend. So, Vampire, it's a game from PS4 era, back in 2018. So it's an older game.
Vampire.
Yeah, like Vampire.
Vampire.
But it's a really good one. It has some like it's an action RPG first and foremost. An RPG in the sense of there's not like stats that you're upgrading, but there are like skill trees and stuff that you're slotting points into, so you can go into like blood magic, shadow magic, or like go full into like physical attacks. Different vampire-y style moves. So like if you go into blood, you can shoot a blood spear out of your hand, or if you go into shadow, you can throw like a shadow on the ground that'll erupt whenever somebody walks over top of it, or you can go full physical and like do vampire claws and just go all out melee.
Or you can have an ad where you can become a Broncos truck, or
you can have an ad where you have a Broncos truck.
Gotta love.
So as far as the combat and stuff goes, it's your pretty standard action RPG, melee weapons, spells, that kind of thing. But where this game really shines and where I feel like this game is super underrated is in the story, and specifically it's got a very in-depth morality system. You play as the game takes place in London post World War I, and you play as a doctor that was a field medic during World War I, returning back to London after the war. And you obviously get turned into a vampire at some point. And it's him kind of, getting reacclimated to the London environment and the way the area that he used to live in has got kind of seedy and stuff like that. And also adjusting to this new vampire powers and stuff like that. So the biggest system with this game is you can either be good or bad. It's got the morality system, and depending on how you go, it's going to affect your playthrough entirely. So if you want to go more of a bad route, you are going to get very powerful very quickly. There are a ton of NPCs in this game. All of them have their own side quests, all backstories, and as you progress those, the XP of those characters goes up. So as you progress their quest lines, you can kind of choose, okay, am I going to keep this person around, or am I going to feed on them and basically harvest that XP that you've been doing the side quests for? You go the bad route, kill a bunch of people, get a bunch of XP, get stronger, or you could go a good route, not kill anybody, and stay on the weaker side, and the environment kind of shifts with those choices. If you
so your morality really matters in this game. Your choices actually hold weight.
Yep, your choices actually hold weight as you. So if you kind of want to go a middling route and like kill some, not kill some, it actually affects the area that the NPCs are in. So it's blocked off into different sections of London, and as the population decreases, the status of that zone goes down, and more vampire hunters move into the area because they've heard people are dying due to a vampire. So the difficulty of the mobs in the area will actually increase as you're feeding on people, and it'll stay low if you choose to keep people alive. So the game isn't necessarily going to be easier or harder depending on the choices you make, but it will be different.
So the XP. Good.
Oh no, go ahead.
So the XP bar, you mentioned about this with the characters having XP. So like I'm seeing it on screen now, where like you're I guess using like your vampire vision, and it shows you like this XP above them. So
yeah,
like how does that mean, like are they gonna have like different story beats based on that XP, or like what is that XP
so the story beats are the same. And as you progress those story beats, their XP goes up. So as you learn more about these people, as your connection with these people deepens, their passive XP goes up. And if you don't choose to feed on them, it means nothing. It just sits there with a big red bar in your face, being like, "This person's got 3K XP. You could take it any time."
Okay,
So
it's a resource.
Basically,
it's a resource. Yes.
Basically, you're fattening them up like the pig to the slaughter until you're like, I'm good. I could eat that person now.
Yeah.
It's like almost making your prey just really, really happy. It fills them up with more blood, apparently.
Exactly. The more you help these people, the more their XP goes up, and then you can just take it all away for yourself. Kind of fucked up, but it's the reality of the situation.
This game seems right up my alley.
Dude, I knew it. I'm just saying,
for
like,
it. I need
since
to play
Tony
this.
showed up, like the evil side of the podcast game seemed to be growing more and more. You know, it's yeah. There's a darker side of these video games that we're diving into that seems a little sketch. So I don't know.
It's Halloween. It's Halloween.
Yeah, it's Halloween. Okay.
It's not me.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Oh man.
But
I'm over here like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I like to play necromancers. I'm completely okay with resurrecting and
feeding
families.
people to slaughter,
I don't
fattening
care.
up your victims so you can fucking feed on them later. Like this is.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to. Nobody's making you do it. Although those XP bars do get really tempting once they get to the higher levels.
Okay. I have a question, Bills. If he chooses not to feed at all, does it deter you? Like basically negative effects, like you can't use his powers as much. You don't.
So if you don't choose to feed at all, it severely stunts your ability growth. You're going to be weaker on your attacks. You're going to have lower health.
XP for that, right?
Yeah,
like you have to.
And you do get passive XP from killing people, like killing vampire hunters or killing skulls, which are like the thralls and stuff. But yeah, they give like 50 XP.
That's actually pretty cool.
Like for higher level enemies
without shooting on anybody.
I played this back in the day. I actually need to do a full playthrough of it. It was actually a really fucking good game. I think I got to like the midway of the first act, and then something else came out. Something else came out. I started playing that.
It's super underrated, and it does have a decent amount of replayability because there's 4 endings, all based on how like you intersperse your morality choices. So it's cool. Plus, you get to be a doctor. Like as you're going through, and interacting with like the different NPCs, going to different sections and stuff, people will be afflicted with things. This is post World War I London, after all. So they'll have like plague, they'll have fatigue, they'll have different afflictions, and you being a doctor are able to cure them of these afflictions. And if you don't cure them of these afflictions, they will, I do believe, actually die on you, which will completely cut off their XP altogether. And if they die of disease, it will also cut you off of the good endings because you basically chose not to help them.
Don't you have to like do your doctor's visitation and shit as well? Isn't there like sections of the gameplay that you have to actually like run the hospital?
Yep, you're brought in to Pembroke Hospital as the night doctor,
night surgeon, the new night doctor. Yeah.
So, and then you have to go through and do your rounds. There's patients there that have some of the deeper backstories to them. The game's just really good. I could gush about it all day. It's one of the more underrated games from that era. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. This is like a 50+ hour game if you want it to be, or it could be like a 20+ hour game if you just want to speed through and not really care too much about all the intricacies. It's really play how you want to play.
Trying to get some of the combat so I could see. We could showcase some of the combat.
Can we put like a goal for getting send some YouTube red or whatever.
Please, can we, so I don't have to have ads anymore. This is so fucking ridiculous, dude. I've never gotten this many. But yeah, it's kind of
it's a good game, man. It's a really good game. I never got too far into it, so I'm glad you're playing. I actually might pick it up and play it alongside you, honestly.
I think I'm just watching.
No, it's great. Like I said, highly underrated. If you're more into the like more difficult action RPGs, because this is not a Souls-like, but it does have similar like combat tropes to it. This would be right up your alley. Like I said, I could gush about it all day. It's got so many little nuances. Like you saw how we were using the vampire sense on the NPCs. You can also use it on enemies to see what their weaknesses are. You can gauge what their level is, so you know, okay, they're a level 7 or 8 enemy. I'm level 4. Maybe I should not deal with them. Or you could do the standard gamer thing and just run your face into the wall until it breaks.
Is there like quick question or last question I have for it? So you're talking about like fatigue and diseases. If you feed on those people, do you get like, do you have to deal with that? Like, do you acquire those things, like, or
no? But the afflictions that they have will decrease the XP that you get for them. So if you feed on somebody that is sick, it is going to reduce the amount of XP that you get from that particular person.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
So there's a negative. There is a negative. Fuck, I can't even talk right now for some reason. There is a negative reason to leaving people sick. It's always the best, whether you're going to feed on them or keep them alive, to cure them.
You know what this game would really do well with? Multiplayer.
Multiplayer.
PvP. What about PvP?
PvP. No. Well, Vampire Bloodlines or whatever. What the fuck was that game that we used to play? That BR game?
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Yo, that game legit though was actually fun as fuck, man. That BR game. They just had balancing issues, but that game was cool. Anyway.
Yeah, it was a unique take on it.
You can get Vampire right now on Steam. I think it's also available on PlayStation 5 and Xbox. But for Steam, you can get it for $40. They actually have a DLC called The Hunter's Heirloom. Oh my god. Did I just say heirloom? Fuck me, man. The Hunter's Heirloom.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who can't talk tonight.
For fucking $3.
Friday, man.
Well.
We're all off.
So
yeah.
Cool. Well, there you go. All right. Tony, you played
yes.
You got your anime on, yeah?
Yes, I did. I did indeed.
So Tony has been playing Dragon Ball Sparking. Is it Dragon Ball Z or is it just Dragon Ball Sparking Zero?
Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero.
Okay, Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. Because it's not just Z though, isn't it? Doesn't it go, or is it really only in the Z?
It's really Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
I was about to say because it's a lot.
But it's Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. You know.
So
okay,
tell me about it.
So this game. What can't I say about this game? This game is really good. I enjoyed the story mode. I was just going through as Goku. There's plenty of story modes to choose from. There's Goku, Vegeta, you got Gohan, you got Piccolo. There's just multitude of story like scenarios to go through. And it takes you from the original, well, it starts, well, at least with Goku, it starts at the Saiyan Saga, and then you go through each saga as well as jumping into GT and then Super. To unlock like a multitude of characters. This is 182 playable characters.
I was gonna ask how many playable characters are. So out of those 182, how many are Goku?
I think
181
7 or 8. No, 7 or either 8. Bills, I believe. So you got the regular one, you got Kaioken, Super 2, 3. Yeah, about 7. Because then you got the Ultra Instinct, and you got Super Saiyan 4 and all that. I didn't understand why they did that at first, but then when explained to me by some veterans of the Dragon Ball Z genre, they said that the reason they separated all of the characters like that was to
completely different
to make them move sets, but because if you just transform, they'll give you a completely different set of move sets. But the thing was, they didn't want, when people were playing ranked, to just choose Goku and be able to cycle through each and every
do everything.
Do everything. If you're gonna choose one version of Goku, that's where you're gonna stay, unless you play in, like, I believe, custom matches or whatnot.
Right.
This game on story mode is very, for me, I'm not the biggest like fighting game enthusiast, but I would have to say the story mode was fairly like challenging. I don't know if anybody's been online and been seeing all of the memes of the grade 8 Vegeta just kicking everyone's ass. Like, it was.
Oh yeah.
It's incredible to know that as a community of people, everybody just like, fuck that grade 8 Vegeta form, because it was just kicking everybody. Everybody was losing to it. It was difficult.
Was that the wall boss? Like
that is the wall
the gamer wall.
But see, the thing is, the story mode for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, I think they dialed up the difficulty, because if you lose enough, it'll say on the screen, "Hey, would you like to decrease the difficulty?"
Get fucking better, noob.
It's basically like giving you the middle finger, like you suck. Like
I was about to say, does that ever like me personally? Anytime that pops up, it just makes me want to beat it anymore. Like fuck no,
right? It stings
absolutely
so bad.
not.
I don't never turn it down just because of that.
I contemplated that shit on Warhammer though. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I was like, motherfucker, bro, I can't get to the tutorial.
But I have to say, if you've this Dragon Ball game is it's a gem. Even if you know what I mean, you're losing. There's beam battles. There's other move sets. There's different types of transformations. There's like countering in this game. The moves are a lot different from what, if anybody in here has played like the very last Budokai Tenkaichi like 3.
Yeah,
it differs. Like your moves can change just depending on if you're playing on the classic settings or the default settings, the new settings, in my opinion, that they put into the game. And it tells you that at the very beginning of the game. Very beginning, as soon as you boot up, do you want classic or do you want these defaults? Well, default did them classics. And I was just like, I'll try.
What's the difference between them? Like
so there's some button presses that are different, i.e. like your guard.
So it's like controllers, in comparison to like the last game, if people were more akin to the last game's controller rather than this one.
Right. So those little button nuances can mean the difference between you blocking something and you taking whatever. Yeah, so it's a good game though. It really is good. I understand why the buzz is all about on the internet about this like, and even so, like, it's not balanced. However, let me say that when I say it's not balanced, I'm saying that, and they did this purposefully. They did it on purpose so you understood, like, you can't pick, you can pick certain characters and still win. These are the unicorns of the community that know ins and out of everything about the game, so they can pick a low tier character and probably beat you if you still Ultra Instinct Goku. You're not guaranteed to win just because you pick Ultra Instinct Goku, but they have advantages over other characters like Master Roshi, Yajirobe, the ones who can't fly. Like, if you can't fly, you do a high jump, and that's about it. And then you just come floating down.
Master Roshi can't fly?
Master Roshi always utilized the flying Nimbus. Well, actually, he had it. He won it. I don't think he ever used it. Can't remember.
Well,
yeah, so I could have sworn I remember him flying, but I guess not.
Here's my thing about this, which I think, you know, for me, like, I like fighting games. I play, you know, quite a bit of them. You know, I've done the Street Fighter and the, you know, Marvel vs. Capcoms and Versus series and all that kind of stuff, right? I think that it's, you know, there is a definite line here that some people are like, I don't know, because this does not look like your typical fighter, right? Like, your typical fighter is on a singular plane, you know, and you're facing one another. Obviously you've got Tekken, right, where it's, you know, a 3D environment, but you're still within a, you know, kind of facing one another and have a 3D plane. This is, you know, you're over the shoulder, and your, you know, character that you're facing, your opponent, could be way the fuck far away that you can't really see them. You know, and it's just a different kind of aspect. Now, I mean, how have, like, I know you're saying you're not big on the, you know, fighting games, but like, you know, do you like that? You know, do you think that, you know, what have you heard from the community?
I don't really mind this type of fighting game. There's like 3 Budokai Tenkaichis like this.
Yeah, I was about to say, but they have fighting games like that though, where it's like on a 2D plane and everything like that. And
they have Naruto, One Piece. Most of the anime fighters take either the open approach like this or the 2D, you know, I come this way, you come this way, and we meet up in the middle type business. Right. But the reason I like games like this was because, okay, for the 2D fighter style, when you go on a Dragon Ball Z type feel, it was always a dynamic of being 3D. I would like to hit you so hard you launch across the map, and then I do something to. You can't get that effect with a 2D fighting style.
I feel like 2D. You're 2D. You're not doing Dragon Ball justice.
I mean, fighters.
Really.
I mean, fighters did really good. Fighters like Dragon Ball Z. They didn't. Fighters was really strong because they would have combos that would do these types of things, right? Like they would send you across the map, and it would change. But whatever else. Obviously, not to this extent. It's just something that I. Like as a fighting fan, I have played Budokai. Like, I mean, Dragon Ball Z Budokai was like, I remember that shit on the PlayStation 2 and original Xbox. Like, I love that shit, right? So, but it's been that long since I have played a Budokai Tenkaichi game, and so coming in and seeing Sparking Zero, having that long of a gap, I was like, I don't know if this is a fighting game that I'm really going to be able to like kind of get into. It's also too, it's not like your typical fight, like you don't do quarter circles and Dragon Ball punches, right? Like it's all like button based, right?
It's all button based, button combo. Has a lot to do with blocking and being able to just kind of read when your opponent is about to do something as well. If you're really good at timing and parries, this is something that'll work for you too as well, because this is me playing against the AI, the computer, but if you go into online PvP, oh my days, there are some people there. So with the online PvP for this game, right? They make it so I played a couple of matches, nothing serious because I'm not the biggest fighting game person, but playing a couple of matches that I did play, most people are gonna go for Goku, your main characters. They're over 182 playable, but they're gonna go for your strongest ones. All of the characters that they built up over the seasons and years that Dragon Ball Z has been out,
40 years.
They're not like, those characters are hardly used unless you're an enthusiast that kind of like loves this character in and out, and you wanna play with just that one character. I get that, but when you go online, there's nothing but Ultra Instinct Gokus, Super Saiyan 4 Cheetahs, and all time. And I loved it seeing one of these guys online use Captain Ginyu and he did the change body swap every time he met a person that just wanted to play with Goku or Vegeta. He just changed bodies, and then he had people quitting, and I loved it. It was so good.
That is one of the things that I think this game is going to get praised for and get shit for, because they went more the accurate power level for the characters. So like, you're not going to be able to go and run the circuit with Hercule, for instance. He's just going to get body. He's not actually going to be able to keep up with like your Super Brolys and stuff like that.
Now, granted, like I've seen people take Chaozu or Hercule, go through and beat on people in PvP. So it really just comes down to the actual player base, because I know there's other games out there. I'm blanking on the fucking name, but it's another anime one that we played recently. I can't remember the name of it though. There's people in their community that take like the ass and characters and will just go and dominate those things, because
there's always look, in every fighter there's always a tier system, but I do think like in a testament to kind of like
this is on purpose though,
right?
It is
like in like games like Mortal Kombat and Marvel vs. Capcom, like if you're an MVC like player and have been in that, like Doom, Magneto, and you can sub in another character, right? Put in Strider, put in whatever Mega Man, like whatever Zero you want to put, like those were the characters that you always saw and the teams that you always saw, because they had ridiculous things. Now, granted, you would see occasional swap outs, but to me, one of the turnoffs is that like I don't like, especially because also in this game specifically, it doesn't feel, because I'm not doing like quarter circle moves, I'm not doing things that feel like there are a skill. It's just like, okay, it's almost, I would almost equate it to more of like a chess game. And dear God, I'm not saying chess isn't a skill, but I'm just saying like in this where it's like, hey, I'm powering up, and it's just kind of like, okay, do I hit A now, or do I like I don't know, like, are there can you see like right now it's doing an anime style of like this cut scene into him doing a Kamehameha. Online, is it cutting to that character, or are you just seeing him back there? Like, how does it look like online?
No. So when I get that cutscene, everything's frozen for that period in time. You can't move. You're actually watching my cutscene.
What about online? When you do an online, is it the same thing?
Yeah, if he's standing still like that, just like this, it's the same thing. So if I use a move and then you use a move, like you see my cutscene. But if you're like far from me while I'm using this, you have the timing to dodge. Now, right there, we locked in 2 ultimates together. And now you play this mini game in order to win it.
That's kind of cool.
That's I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I like that. I mean, I personally like that. It makes it more
because let's say
it makes it less of a fighter and more of like a cinematic fighter. And I'm not I'm not a fighter gamer. You know, I don't really play those games.
And that's the thing. It's a little bit of both, because at this point, like where I'm standing now, if I was to launch anything, it would hit to that cutscene. He would see it, I would see it, and then I would launch it. You have either the timing to get away from it, if you're far enough, or for that matter,
time to counter it,
or the time to counter it.
Yeah.
So it's a chess game in a sense.
It's just I don't know if like to me as a fighting fan, you know, you look at like Evo, and that's kind of like your main stage, right? Like Evo is where fighting games go to get their glory. And I don't, again, maybe this will be on Evo's stage or at Evo. It's just weird in that sense because of that type of fighter that it is, right? It's like I don't know. It's not your typical fighter. So I mean, maybe it will. And I think that's great. But I do think that it should, like, I feel like online, it should do some type of scaling to where it's like, we can, like, you know, your, you know, more Earthling style characters are going to be completely okay if you have the skill against, you know, these ultra instinct. Like, I don't know shit about these games, but like
bringing in fucking Master Yoshi and not giving him the ability to fucking fly is fucking weird to me. That's
so you got Master Yoshi can't fly, Hercule can't fly. Like
that's kind of weird. Like I would have at least given them some kind of like again, like you said, Master Yoshi and the fucking Nimbus Cloud. Like, give him a Nimbus Cloud, make it so he can fucking fly.
Master Yoshi, like Mario.
Roshi. Yeah,
Roshi. Yeah.
No, that's one of the biggest flaws. I think that this is going to keep this game from really being the top tier, at least in the 1v1 scene, is the fact that there is no like level system, like level scaling, because each character is assigned a certain amount of points that is their power level, basically. And I know if you do multiple character battles where you can like choose a team of people, you're locked to 12 points. You can spread this 12 points across the roster and fill out your team that way. You can have some lower tier ones, you can have some upper tier ones. That's all well and fine. 1v1s, it's literally a free-for-all, no limits on who you pick. And unfortunately, I feel like once you hit like the upper tiers of like a professional scene of this, it's going to get very stagnant and very stale.
Oh shit, they got Vegito.
I agree.
That's cool.
But the only thing I would have to disagree on is the fact that the reason this game is going to do well and probably stay out unless they make something else, another fighter, is just behind the fact that this is the next game after Akira Toriyama's death. And this game is just doing fair. Well right now. If I'm not trying to just say it's doing well because of his death, but this is something that hasn't been out in a very long time. Like a Tenkaichi, like hasn't been out since PlayStation 2 era.
Yeah, so it's been quite a while.
It's been a long time since they made something like this, like a Budokai Tenkaichi. I'm not saying like this form of game, but that title, it's just.
No, I get what you mean.
This is what it is, like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but it was Tenkaichi, Budokai Tenkaichi. So
speaking of Akira Toriyama, I can't ever fucking pronounce his last name. Did you guys see they got inducted into the what's it called, the New York Comic Con Hall of Fame this year?
That's awesome.
Oh, that's
nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
they gave him honorary rights and gave him that. This is again, like I said, this is their 40th anniversary this year, and yeah, he got in there with John Buscemi, Larry Hama, Serigo Aragons, and Arthur Adams. So.
Oh, and for anybody that was wondering, the developer is Spike Chunsoft, and the publisher, of course, is Bandai Namco.
Now,
I thought they actually published and developed it.
I did hear that there was a little bit of drama around the cost for this game.
So here's the thing. When this game first was announced, that like a lot of people were asking about it and stuff, and people was like, okay, well, how do I play right now? If you wanted to play right now, there was a deluxe edition. That is $100. Of
course,
right?
Because 2024, you gotta have a fucking deluxe edition that's over $100.
That has early access,
yeah. You gotta do it.
There you go. So there's a deluxe edition for $100, and then there's the ultimate edition for $110. Here's the thing: if you got the ultimate edition, you could play. And this is the thing with fighters. Everybody wants to play earlier so they can get good before everybody else piles in on the regular release day. So what do you think happened? They had a flood of people purchase the game for $100 so they can play Sparking Zero early. And
how early was it opened up for?
I'm assuming 3 days, right?
Some people got copies a week early, like the physical copies. Some people got those a week early. Like from
another
what
point
I
to physical. Let's go chalk it up.
Yeah, that was actually pretty dope. But my thing with the deluxe edition is you're getting some extra. I believe you get some extra characters. Hold on, excuse me. Let me make sure I'm correct about this. For the deluxe edition, you get the season pass, 3 packs including the Dragon Ball Z Superhero and Dragon Ball Diamond content that contains more than 20 playable characters. I guess you get a 20 plus playable characters with the season pass, however. And then you get a season pass bonus of Summon Shenron and 3 days early access to the 3 DLC packs. So
the ultimate edition got Summon Super Shenron, while as the non-deluxe edition just got the 3-day early access and the season pass. It looks like.
And I get it. I understand people wanted to practice. This is one of the greatest, Dragon Ball Z games like popping right now. But I couldn't see myself. I mean, unless you're really a fan, I just wasn't gonna, drop $100 for it. But hey, Bandai knocked it out the park with this. Well, Spike Chunsoft and Bandai, they knocked it out the park with this.
It's another of those situations of like the Diablo 4 early access making people pay so much money for the Diablo 4 early access.
Games are going
fans of Diablo are gonna fucking pay whatever because
shut your mouth! Don't you talk about my game?
Shut the fuck up, Whale. Dude, fans of this are going to pay whatever because they're starved for content. They want more Dragon Ball Z content.
I have to say this. It's a good game though. Like I mean,
very positive at 26,000 reviews on Steam is impressive.
Everything I've seen, it looks fucking awesome. And like I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan. Even though I said Master Yoshi, I realized that. Don't come at me.
That's your league coming out.
I have been a Dragon Ball fan since I was like 11. Like I've been watching them forever. Like this looks awesome to me, and it does give you that feel of Dragon Ball Z. I'm just not a fucking fighter fan. I just don't.
Well, maybe this is your game though. You don't have to be like, you can just hit buttons. You don't have to do the motions.
Yeah, maybe.
Moves. I mean, that's a big deterrent.
I did like the one that was on the PlayStation 2, whatever that one was. I picked that one up and I fucking played the shit out of that one. But
nice. All right. Well, there you go. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, out now on I think pretty much every platform, Steam, PlayStation, and is it also crossplay? Can you play with?
It is not crossplay.
Motherfuckers. Well, there you go. Can't play with the issues. All right. Well, let's talk about a game that Enigma played. This is actually a game that we were going to talk about last week, but we didn't have time, and rightfully it's okay because it gave Enigma time to be able to play the game. And it is called Evercraft Online. So
Yeah.
What the fuck is this like wannabe Minecraft bullshit?
So Evercraft Online, if we've talked about it for a long time, right? Where we're like, man, we wish that old school MMOs would come back. Those were the heyday of MMOs. We want to go back to World of Warcraft Classic. Everybody wants to go back to those old days and kind of get that nostalgia going, right? This is a spiritual successor, not in the sense of like it's ran by the people that did EverQuest, right? But this is another ad. Great. This is a spiritual successor to EverQuest. Essentially, everything like development wise that's gone into this game, they took very heavy inspiration from EverQuest, right down to really the races, kind of the same styling of everything. Whereas like your certain races have certain starting locations, certain races are kind of alienated as well. I'm playing a dark elf, and in the city you can't have the dark elf in the city. People get really pissed off at you when you're a dark elf. You can like go to certain merchants and they'll be like, I don't deal with you because you're a dark elf, get out of here.
Gotta have your high fantasy xenophobia.
Gotta have your high fantasy racism, yeah, for sure. But it harkens back to those good old days of EverQuest, right? Where you actually have to read the quest text to know where the fuck you're going. They don't have a quest tracker. They don't really have a map. They have a compass, right? And inside of your quest descriptions, you'll get kind of like hints of where things are at. So like I think the first one for me was a necromancer. I was trying to find my trainer, which again, another callback to the old school days. You don't actually start the game trained. You actually have to go and talk to your trainer and do a mission to get certain your first like abilities and everything like that, right?
Okay.
But they don't show you where your trainer's at. They give you, there's a little note that basically says, hey, by the way, your trainer's in the sewers. Good luck fucking finding those, right?
Wow.
So it's
I
one
want to
of
get
those
trained by the sewer guy.
It's actually really cool. Like it is, man. Like the necromancy part and like the darker portion of this is centered inside of the sewers. You go down there. The necromancer trainer is surrounded by a bunch of fallen skeletons. Those are his guards. There's dark knights or shadow knights, I think is what they're called in this, that are kind of a mix between a necromancer and a warrior. They're the kind of tank of that aspect, right? Those guys are down in there. Mages, some of the mages are down in there. But yeah, it's just a really, really good harkening back to the good old days of like, again, like EverQuest, those old school MMOs where things aren't really, they don't really hold your hand. It's extremely overbearing when it comes to like combat. I can get my ass handed to me by a fucking chicken. I think I literally just got killed by a chicken, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere in there I got killed by a chicken. But it's fun, man. I played a little bit today. This was like the actual footage that I'm playing right now was from a very early access alpha test that they kind of just sporadically were like, hey, we're opening the servers so we can stress test our servers for Friday. I was able to get some footage. And that's what this is. They actually opened their actual alpha today, and have been doing extremely, extremely well. So it's, yeah.
Is it full open or is it right now or is it?
No, it's in alpha. It's in alpha. They're only opening the alpha for the weekend, so they started today, and I think they're closing it down on Monday or Sunday. I can't remember which one. One of those days. They're closing it down, and then they'll take the information that they got from that, obviously, and kind of cater to that. I think their next alpha that they want to shoot for is in December, if I'm not mistaken. Like but honestly, like it's in a state right now. They had a little bit of a lag issue today, but that early alpha, it was there. I had no issues, and yeah, it is Minecraft. This is a voxel based world. It's not Minecraft in the sense of like you can build or you can destroy the world. Everything is built in voxel based. You can't destroy anything. You can't build anything. As far as I know, they don't have any plans for like player housing or anything like that, which I think I like player housing personally. So I kind of wish that they would add something like that, but I can also kind of see.
You like your MMO Animal Crossing?
Yeah. Kind of, almost. Yeah, I really do like the housing systems, and a lot of like Final Fantasy 14 has really decent housing system if you can fucking get a house. That is, that's the only problem that I have with Final Fantasy 14 stuff. But it's
did you see a
I can't gush about it, man.
Kind of
there's a ton of people. Yeah, there is a ton of people. I think the thumbnail that I used for this specific video, at the end of that alpha, they had everybody join, kind of coalesce at the city gates, and there was like that wasn't even everybody that was online. There was at least 50, 60 people. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dude, this is miserable.
Download a
YouTube,
goddamn ad blocker.
Fucking Come on. Shit together. I have an ad blocker.
But yeah, today they had, I think they said that they had the most players that they have ever had on a server, which was 800, and then they had to open another server, so there was more people than that.
Love that.
Obviously it's not going to pull in the numbers that World of Warcraft pulls in, right? It's not going to pull. It's an indie development MMO.
Niched.
It's very niche. Yeah, not a lot of people are into these old style of games, but having 800 people on a fucking server for this is huge, dude.
So
yeah, it's wild.
I have a question for you, because you gave me and Scruffy kind of shit for playing Project Gorgon, and you know, I get that this is voxel, but like Project Gorgon is that harken back to old school style EverQuest. And why this over something like that?
I don't know.
Like,
I never actually tried Project Gorgon, honestly. So
would now new Enigma go back and try? I don't know. I think Project Gorgon might be gone. I can't remember. I knew that
probably not. There was some very glaring, like large glaring issues that I had with Project Gorgon in particular. I get it. I get what you're saying, that like this is you know, it's blocky, it's Minecrafty graphics. But to me, this looks better than Project Gorgon looked. Gorgon looked terrible.
Like, it's dated. Bad. It's like Gorgon is
dated. It did not look good. Yeah, it did not look good at all, and it didn't play very well from everything that I saw. Like, it was extremely skatey. And I'm not saying that this isn't, obviously. And maybe, yeah, maybe going back to it and maybe looking at it, if it's still running, maybe I would like to get into it. But like, again, Project Gorgon, you had to pay for to get into it, and I didn't want to invest that you know, I didn't want to risk investing money in something that wasn't going to go. This, obviously, we don't know if you're going to have to invest something. I do think that they said that they want to have it as a you pay for it once and play it. I can't confirm that though. It might be a free to play game. It could be a subscription game. I don't think they've really made a decision on that yet. They're still kind of in their early days. Again, it's alpha.
Project Gorgon is still running.
Yeah, it's still running.
Is it? Yeah.
It's only peaking at about 100 and some players, but it is still running.
Again, you can't
niche
base
old
that.
School. Yeah.
It's niche old school or EverQuest style games. Like they're not the most popular. So you can't base like player base off of
what is that ladder climbing?
Yeah. Again, alpha.
I don't want to know alpha. What you're using to get up that ladder, because that positioning,
you climb with a cane.
Like, just oh man,
but yeah, it's alpha. It's I think that it's actually extremely polished for alpha personally, but you know,
yeah, I mean, hey,
go and check it. Go and check it out at least. Like it does the things that they did want to do with it, where it was like they wanted to push it back to the old school of EverQuest, where you know they kind of harken back to the classes, they kind of harken back to the races, everything like that. I think they did an extremely good job on. And I had a buddy that was playing last night with us, Vexer, who is like an EverQuest fanatic, right? Like he dual boxes, he multi boxes on EverQuest, or he has in the past, right? He's hardcore EverQuest, and he was like, yeah, this is impressive. Like what they did here is impressive, and it does what they did here is like a very good rendition of what he knows as EverQuest.
Using the voxel style allows you to do a lot of things, right? Like it takes a lot of load off of a lot of things. You know, and it allows you to develop in a way that that using something like Throne and Liberty or Unreal 5 doesn't necessarily do. Right? And what I think is actually funny is that games like this and now like the MMOs, like I'm seeing a resurgence of comments coming out about my game that I love to death that was killed, but WildStar, about being like, hey, like you've got, like Throne and Liberty being like a super successful, and like you said, hardcore WoW and all the like people wanting like that more traditional style. Literally there's a big thing right now being like, NCSoft, fucking do it, like make WildStar come back.
They're not gonna do it, unfortunately. But I don't see them doing it, unfortunately. I hope that, I wish that they would, because I do agree with you. I give you shit all the time, like whenever you bring that up, I'm like, you can't go back home, Stan. I'm sorry, you can't go back home.
Yeah,
I do wish that they would, because I do believe that WildStar and that game in general didn't get the recognition and notoriety that it should have. It came out at a very bad time when people kind of were playing those games where they wanted WoW to hold their hand, they wanted video games to hold their hand, everything like that. But since the resurgence of like WoW Classic and everything like that, I think that it would do really well. I do agree with you on that. Yeah. I just don't see I don't see them.
So when is the next the playtest right now for Evercraft Online is currently happening? You can go and sign up for it.
Playtest right now is going on right now up until I think Sunday or Monday. Like I said, there's no keys. You literally just go to Evercraft, their website, whatever it is, sign up for an account, log in, download their launcher and play. You can play from that, and yeah, it's going on until, like I said, Sunday or Monday, I think. Full access, everything's there. They're missing a couple classes, a couple races, but what they have is what you got. Nice. And if you're into these kind of old school MMOs and you think that would be a good thing, the Hidden Tree and Entertainment, I believe, is who is making it. Let me just make sure of that. Yeah, Hidden Tree Entertainment is doing a fantastic job, and their lead developer and I believe CEO's name is Enigma. So
So it's your game, is what you're saying.
So that's why you like it so much, you lying bastard.
He stole my damn name, bro. He stole my damn name. I logged in the other night and I was like,
you didn't own Enigma. I hate to tell you that, but all right.
No, but they are doing an impressive job. Like last night they were on, or today they were on, just playing around with the community. They were in the world. You could go and talk to them. You could go and throw things off of them and be like, hey, this is happening here. Maybe you should check that out. Everything like that. So
did you tell them about the ladder humping?
I did not tell them about the ladder humping
because he enjoyed it too much. So
I did.
All right. Well, let's talk about news. That wrapped up all the games that we've been playing, and a great segue is that Evercraft Online and Throne and Liberty and WildStar, they're all MMORPGs. Well, a pre-release MMORPG came out, and it's really weird. You guys, you might recognize it, so don't trip up, but. You ever New World? It's pre-release right now. New World Eternium.
I want to know. I want to know why they called it New World when it's not a new world technically. Like
it's definitely not.
It's like Final Fantasy not being the Final Fantasy.
Couldn't they just call it World? Like World it's now World Eternium.
Yeah. So New World launched several years ago. I mean, New World, I think it launched originally 3 years ago now.
Oh, it was 3 years ago, two years ago, 3 years ago, somewhere around there. Yeah.
And then they have done what they could to try to make the game back to its heyday, right? Like it was successful for a little while. It has since had a expansion called The Rise of Angry Earth, that you could 2021. They have gone I don't think they've gone free to play.
No, I don't believe so. There was conversations about it possibly going free to play, but I don't think that
they never went free to play. The game has had an identity crisis for a long time before, and now it's now come out. So anyway, they decided, hey, Eternium. We're gonna relaunch the game and call it Eternium. It worked for Final Fantasy 14. We could definitely kind of do it here.
Let's say this is the Realm Reborn of this game, right?
Kind of, and yeah. And so what they did was this was basically, hey, we're gonna bring it to console, which I think is a smart move. Like 100%, the game, built for console. I've heard controls extremely well on controller. So Tony, you can play it. So
why you gotta do them like that, bro? God.
Because I mean. I saw on fucking Dragon Ball, the motherfucker, it was controller settings, so I know he was playing it on a controller. And you're muted, I think, by the way. Um, but yeah, well, I'm fine. It's your controller player. That's what happens. In any case, yeah. So they launched New World Eternium launched, and I think it had good numbers. But some of the drama that has come out is that Amazon was labeling non-Eternum player reviews from like original launch and Rise of
the original launch
as pre-release reviews. So anything that is non-Eternium was labeled as a pre-release review.
Wow.
So it had some hot water to it. Now the game itself, like I said,
as it should.
Yeah,
as it should.
Yeah. But the game
holy shit, 37,000 players right now though.
Yeah. It's look, I mean, these games, all of these like MMOs like this, when they have something new come out, you see it in Lost Ark, you see it in you'll see it in Throne and Liberty. I guarantee you right now, you look at Throne and Liberty's numbers and they're probably tanking off the charts, right? Like
they went from 5,000 to
they're falling off
50 to 60,000 now. That's wild.
But and I think that again, releasing the game on console, brilliant.
This is
right?
just Steam.
Yeah. So it'll have a I think the player base now, because console players, they don't really have a lot when it comes to MMOs. I think console players have they have Final Fantasy
2 games, like 2 or 3 games. Yeah.
You talking about New World right now? Or
yeah.
Okay.
No, New World. Yeah. New World.
They've got Final Fantasy. They've got what's it called
well, isn't Throne and Liberty
Elder Scrolls Online.
Throne and Liberty is crossplay across all platforms.
Yeah.
So
that actually helps these type of games when they.
But yeah, so I mean, I think them going and bringing it to a console is smart, especially this thing.
It was a smart move.
Here's the big thing about New World, right? Is that at its core, even with this, even all the patches that they talk about, which on here, if we scroll down, you can look at some of the patches that the patch notes that they talk about. They talk about killing a PvP opponent. There's still target lock issues. They still have talking about like turn speed being slower when target locked. They added cross-world arenas. They improved matchmakings. They added a new PvP zone called the Cursed Mist. They added a new raid.
You think they ever fixed that? You remember back when New World first released, how they had like those their chat. You remember how people could like inject things just by typing them in the chat?
Yeah. I don't know if they fixed that or not. One of the big things that they added in, which is wild to say, in 2024, they added swimming. You can now swim in New World.
Oh my god!
Oh boy,
you couldn't swim before.
They added swimming, and they added fucking mounts. Wow!
I don't like the mounts, but that's fine. That's just me.
They needed mounts. Come on, bro.
I don't know. I didn't like mounts anyway. But they did add some stuff in that I think that the game somewhat did need, which was like archetype characters. So before, whenever you would load into the game, you actually would just log in, and it would be your character screen customization. Then you ended up on an island. It was cool, but you kind of felt like, all right, and then you like got a weapon and you kind of feel this out. Well, now when you load into your character and build your character, it comes across as like, hey, what kind of archetype do you want? Like, do you want to be like this? And they'll have like 2 weapons that you choose from that you automatically kind of get, and it kind of gives you an idea of like how that character kind of plays, right? So
interesting,
because before it was very
kind of, instead of being a sandbox character, you can kind of
you pick your. I mean, you're still sandboxy, but you're still.
Can you still swap them out later, or is this just
it's just what they're trying to do is do what I think they have been having problems with since the very beginning, is like their identity. What type of MMO, what type of game is this? Because now when you go in, it's kind of like, hey, do you want to be like a tank? Right. And because New World never had like a Trinity system, really. I mean, you did, but it really didn't have.
They had slight. It's kind of like Throne and Liberty. Like they had certain weapons that did better at healing, or certain weapons that did better at tanking.
Right.
But they never had like an actual like tank or healer.
Right. So this is them kind of being like, hey, like we're gonna go down the Trinity route and kind of like give you the Holy Trinity and of tank, healer, or tank, healer and DPS. So I don't know,
man. I'm gonna have a very controversial take on this, right? Like, I feel like if you're going to go down that route, and again, I know this is a controversial take because Throne and Liberty just released and they're doing extremely well with it, right? But it's the same complaint that I have in Throne and Liberty, right? Tanking in both of these games felt real fucking weird because you could just walk in and be like, yeah, I'm a tank, but maybe you not necessarily weren't a tank, right? Or yeah, I'm a healer because I have a wand. You're not built out to be a healer though. Like,
it takes.
I feel like if they're gonna go down the Trinity route, go full send down the Trinity route. Like I get where they want to go, where they want to make sure that people have the freedom to be able to swap between, hey, this if I want to go in as a tank, but I don't want to necessarily go down the route of like sword and board, I still have options, right? But like that like limits your player base in that aspect so much, because you're just like tossing up in the air, hey, is this guy actually tanked out or spec'd out to be a tank, or is he just saying that he's a tank, right? And it feels weird to me. I don't know, and maybe that's just the old school MMO player in me that's like, I don't want to be. Well, if I want to be a tank, I want to be a tank.
Well, look, I mean, name what other game has an MMO that has been successful without a Holy Trinity?
Yeah, like it's very few.
And I think the only one that I can honestly think of is Guild Wars.
Guild Wars, yeah, I was about to say Guild Wars 2.
Dungeoning in Guild Wars 2 is not really a thing. Like, it's not like
Guild Wars 2. You could argue that that Elder Scrolls Online technically has,
but no,
like,
honestly,
it's still
ESO
kind of
started off as a not having a Trinity, and then they
still kind of has that. Yeah, it still kind of has that aspect of like, are you actually a tank? Are you not a tank? Like, what are you? Like, I don't understand. There's not a lot of games out there these days that really, if they have the Trinity system in it, where it's like, hey, you have a tank, you have a healer, you have a DPS. If they don't go down that archetype route, they don't usually.
I just think that I agree with you. I think keeping it, we don't need to reinvent the wheel when it comes to this. Like, that works. There's a reason it works. Like, and I think WoW does a great job with it, of being like, hey, you have a spec, and that checks you off to be like, you are that spec, and that's what you're going to do. And you can switch specs, but you are no longer able to queue as a tank. With New World, look, my Warden-esque comes from the playing New World. I mean, all of these guys, will tell you, like,
no, we did
killing
we
fishing.
We didn't call
you. I'm telling you, but I'm saying, like, me being out there killing fishermen in New World, like, that's where that real Warden aspect came from. And I would love for New World to take off and find its footing and be successful. I think it's a dope world. I really think that it's a cool environment. Well, I think the sound in the game is really cool. I like the weapons. I like the era that it's in.
That was the biggest complaint that I had about it, was like, I there was so much that they did that I was like, yeah, take those ideas, like the world, the timeline, the aspects, the fucking, the enemies, the enemy design, the fucking weapon design. Take all that, great ideas, perfect. Put it into an actual MMO.
Right.
Like put it into an actual Trinity MMO, and I think you'll have a banger. But
do you think
so? My thing,
they're too far down the road with it.
My thing for these type of games, I've always like, I want to sink my teeth into a good MMO, but the last one that really kind of did it for me was Lost Ark, and I've kind of just been kind of burnt out on trying to get into anything else. Like these type of games, New World, Throne of Liberty, they take a lot of dedication now compared to
it's an MMO. That's just the MMOs in general. They take a lot of dedication, a lot of time.
And there's so many of them. Like you said, if you don't break the Holy Trinity, excuse me. Damn, it's everybody having different.
It's Friday, bro.
Yeah, it's Friday.
We're off, boys.
But if you don't break the Holy Trinity, you're good to go. Like, I haven't seen very many games that don't have a healer system or a tank system that works.
The only one that I can think of that has done it okay, and it's entirely just because they don't really, like, they don't lean into that system, is, again, like you said, Guild Wars, but also like BDO, and I know you guys are gonna give me shit. BDO does an extremely good job at that. Like, they don't lean into having like they actually don't traditional. Like traditional dungeons and raid mechanics and everything like that. So yeah, you technically don't really need the Holy Trinity of the healer, the tank, the DPS, right? So I don't know. Yeah,
I agree. That's a whole nother conversation. Here's what I would say, Tony. I think like games like Throne and Liberty, Lost Ark, those ones that you named for sure are huge time sink sucks. Like those are not casual based MMOs to get into. New World, I would actually argue.
I think New
New
World
is
better,
a good MMO if you are wanting something that you're like, hey, I can get into, pop in, do a couple things, and bounce out and not have to feel like fuck, I gotta be like cutting edge to do shit.
Yeah, because New World's not going to lean into the fact that like you're like Lost Ark, where you're having to like constantly fucking upgrade equipment. Sometimes you fail,
it has
that kind
gear
of stuff.
score, but it's
New
not...
World it does, but you're getting most of your gear score from like doing dungeons or doing dailies or doing questing, everything like that. So like I actually do agree with you quite a bit on that one, Sin. I think you might actually like this one a little bit more just because it doesn't. It respects your time more than those other MMOs.
I mean, even like WoW, they have made it where you can, like, I mean, I've been trying to get you into WoW for a minute now, right? And like, I'm still trying to get somebody into WoW. But what I would say is that if you are going to jump into one of these games, let me know, let your community know, because part of the fun is that like playing with people and like. Throne and Liberty, I enjoy Throne and Liberty. I like Throne and Liberty, but I never got to play with Enigma because of our time sinks. I had a bunch of other stuff going on, so I never got to sync up. And it was a lonely experience, just kind of going. Even though you see people in the world populated, it's still not that same. But if you want to go back to New World, man, I'll dust off the Warden cape, bro. I'll put that crown right back on. We'll go fuck up some fishermen all day long, man. I'll be more than happy to. To bust out.
But you're gonna have to call him Warden.
You gotta call me Warden. That's the whole.
So Warden, are we gonna go over there and kill those fucking fishermen over there? Let's go. Okay, so
if it is, I would say, and look, I've been, the itch has been there to be like, hey, you know what? Let's give New World Tournament a try. Let's see. I own the game already. Let's give it. Have you purchased New World? Do you own it, Tony, or no? Oh, you'd have to buy it. Oh, that's a
I've never played it before.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, maybe if you have some buddies that are gonna stick with it, or you really want to make a go at it for sure.
Do you get a Turnum for free if you already had New World? Is it like an update for it?
It's just an update. So you don't get I don't think that they have. Let me take a look here. Holy fuck! It's $60.
Wow.
Oh my god. Wow.
I'm okay.
At least 80, it's not 70, right?
It's 80 if you want to get the deluxe edition, which gives you Rise of Angry Earth. So it gives you the expansion. That's wild to me.
I don't know about that.
60. Did it launch was it always
2021?
Was it always $60? I swear to God, it was $40
because it's a one price MMO.
No, it was $60 back in the day if I remember correctly.
Are you sure? I could have hold on. New World.
Pretty sure. I mean,
price.
I can look at what I paid for it on Steam, but that'd take.
No. The initial MMO of New World launched at $40, and the deluxe edition was $50.
So.
Wow.
So I can kind of no, I can't understand that because again they released in 2021. But like having the base game and then also the fucking DLC, I can kind of see it, but like
no, bro, the $60 purchase doesn't give you the DLC. The $60 purchase doesn't give it. No, you have to spend the $80 to get the DLC.
Fuck that. Okay. Yeah.
Fuck you, Amazon. Let me triple fucking check here, but I am almost sure that tells you that you have to spend the deluxe edition. Okay, hold on. So the deluxe edition, New World Deluxe Edition comes with New World Eternium, Corrupted Bear Mount, Corrupted Soul Skin. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, I will stand corrected. The deluxe edition that is $80 gets you the bear mount and the skin. So you're spending $30 extra dollars, $20 extra for the skin, $30 extra or $20 extra for skin. If you buy the standard edition New World Eternium, I actually don't know if it comes with.
No, New World back in the day, it was $42.89. That's what I paid for it on Steam.
Dude, it doesn't come with
in 2021.
I have base world. Okay. I only have the New World base game and not the Rise of Angry Earth expansion. If you currently only have the New World base game, you'll have access to only some of the updates and content with the launch of New World Eternium. To get access to all of the content, like the new raid, you will need to purchase Rise of Angry Earth as well.
That's crazy, dude.
Bro, you gotta spend
$39.99.
You got to spend $100 to get this game.
Yeah, 39.99 back in June, July of 2021. That's I paid $42.69 after tax.
That is, but Tony, do not play this game. Do not
game.
buy this game. Nobody buy this
Please
game.
don't.
I'm not jumping back
Please
into
don't
this
do
game.
that.
That is disgusting.
That is scummy as shit. Not only is it scummy as shit that they're making you pay more for the fucking same game that they paid or they charge less, but all again, they're labeling old fucking reviews as fucking pre-release. That is the scummiest shit I've ever heard.
You know they're launching. They I mean, obviously they pumped that price, but they took the opportunity because they're launching it on console at that price.
Console, yeah, and people will pay for it because consoles don't have any fucking MMOs.
That's scummy as shit. I didn't realize it was that price because I already owned both, and I was like, all right, well, no big. I thought at $60. Dude, that's fucked up. That is fucked up. Okay.
Good job, Amazon. You won the fucking worst fucking gaming company in 2024 so far. Well, actually, maybe
sure?
No,
I don't know. Let's talk about some shitty companies because we also have Microsoft on the list. Microsoft has settled its gamers antitrust lawsuit over the $69 billion Activision
They didn't
Blizzard acquisition.
So they didn't.
Gaming companies are getting sued like celebrities now. What is going on?
So they didn't settle. It was fucking. I'm aware the title says it settled. It was dismissed with prejudice. It wasn't settled. It was dismissed, and that's one thing that I find is really funny. Nobody is fucking reporting on it correctly. Those are two completely different things.
So what does it mean? So are they owing people money? Are they not owing people money?
What
the fuck?
No, they were. It was dismissed with prejudice, and it was agreed upon that both parties would pay whatever happened, like whatever their bills were for fighting it. So FTC is going to pay for what FTC paid for, and use the amount of money that they used to fucking bring the case up, and Microsoft will pay for all the legal fees.
So is this just this is all just about the court costs and fees that are associated with this whole thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Oh my God, dude, this is. You know what, Bill? I have to give it to you. I think that you are, as much as it pains me. Again, I was supporting this acquisition all the way through. I think that you will go down as right on the PP predicts on this one. I think this will be one of the worst acquisitions that has occurred in the gaming space. Period.
I don't know. We haven't seen Ubisoft get acquired.
I mean, I'm just saying for like gamers in general, this has just not been. No, we've not won. We were promised the world and we ain't gotten shit. So
yeah.
I mean, we are getting
at least you got a lot of games on Game Pass that are
Blizzard and
Activision games, even though the Game Pass price went up.
No Game Pass is shit.
I mean, yeah, I mean, did we? Was it a win? I don't know. Like the games on Game Pass got shifted around. So
I don't like the Game Pass model myself. I understand the consumer friendliness of it if you're gaming on a budget, but me personally, I think it's detrimental overall.
I don't know. I mean, I
always have. That's nothing new if you know me. So
one of the things that Microsoft did come out with is that they are finally, and we're talking about Game Pass, they finally are bringing out the feature of streaming, like their cloud streaming to Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, you're able to cloud stream to your, but they're just testing it for insiders, and that begins in November of this year. I don't know.
That's the weirdest fucking thing too.
Yeah. Well, Sony's
considering that's like the first that's the first thing that Sony's actually beat Microsoft to when it comes to these subscription models. Sony launched with cloud gaming.
Well, remember this was like the big thing that like Spencer was out there touting, just being like, yo, like being able to game. I mean, we have heard about gaming everywhere, gaming on any device, gaming all over the, on anything.
Well, for Xbox didn't have an actual like architecture for that. That's what they bought.
Yeah, they did. They had
they had a slightly good architecture for it. They had stuff going on before, but like remember Doom, the Doom developer that when they purchased I can't remember the name. What is it? It's
they have Project xCloud. Like they bought a huge chunk of that shit from Meta and brought it over into their whole system.
Yeah, but I'm talking. I'm talking about the guys over there at
id
when they it had the whole they had like a weird patented fucking like no latency cloud gaming architecture that they brought out. I can't remember what it was called. They announced it back when they announced Xbox Game Pass would start.
Well, Project xCloud was part of that back in 2020. I mean, that was their whole spiel was that like, hey, like you can get, you can game anywhere. But again, we're talking 4 years later, and it's now just coming out into beta. And honestly, my question to all you guys, is this too late? Like, I mean, do you think that we're at a point now where it's kind of like this is not a big think about this though. Nvidia, right, with GeForce Experience, their shit rocks, dude. Theirs is really, really strong. Steam is talks about launching theirs, right, and allowing their cloud gaming service. GOG is talking about launching their cloud gaming service, and PlayStation has their. And I know PlayStation, they're not using Gaikai, right? Like they full tilted off of Gaikai and switched to their own. Correct?
I think so.
But I mean, I'm looking at this going, this is a little too. I don't know if this is the future anymore. Like, I don't know if this is the way, because we have not yet seen a service outside of NVIDIA that I think does it really, really, really well. Like,
PlayStation's a shit.
Orion. Orion. It was announced back in 2019. It was id Software's answer to cloud-based gaming. It was a software that was going to optimize game engines for streaming on cloud-based. And when it first was announced, they were boasting like I can't remember what it was, but it was like really, really low latency. Like they were going to lower latency by like 40% for latency demands and frame generation and everything like that. And I think that's probably what's been taking them so long. I don't know. Obviously, you can't ever really tell. I don't think it's the end. No, I don't think it's too late.
I don't either.
Again, like you just listed out 5 companies that are coming out with cloud-based software. Like
it's too late for them to be at the forefront of it.
Yeah, it is. It's just like the sub-based systems, right? Like the cloud or the Xbox Game Pass and the PlayStation Plus or whatever it is, the Plus cloud catalog that they have. Everybody was doing fucking subscription services. Now everybody has one. Like I don't think it's too late for them. And if they can do what this Orion boasted back in the day, I think that could push them forward. If it's what they said it was, right? Like if it's what they said it was, where they're going to reduce latency on cloud-based gaming by 40% that would be fucking huge. That would put them over even Nvidia, because Nvidia's latency is really rough. If I remember
their
correctly.
GeForce Now system works well. Like I've heard,
but the latency, if you don't have a decent fucking connection, the latency is really fucking rough. From what
I mean, I think that's going to be anywhere. Here's my last question with this. Right, is that would you guys, if this comes out and it works, right? And let's say, I don't know, PlayStation gets their shit together or whatever, and the cloud-based systems are working. Would this be a way that you would want to play, or would you still rather want to go to like a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally or ROG Ally X or like a Switch? What I mean,
honestly,
it would be. Go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead.
I feel like I would stick to a Switch or a Steam Deck. Like for me, I'm not trying to say that this isn't something that isn't convenient. It's a convenient thing, but at the same time, for me, I'd rather either have my own game. Then again, most of the stuff now they're telling you don't even actually own it if it's digital. But that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit later on the cast.
But I get the convenience, but nah, for me, it's a no. I'd rather just have the like you said, the Steam Deck or and it'll be my library or the Switch.
Yeah, I hope that the cloud gaming thing stays niche, just because I could see gaming companies and publishers and stuff like that, like going the next step, like, okay, digital's out. You can only access gaming through cloud now because we don't want to give you any rights to it. You literally have to stream it off of our servers so we can shut it down whenever. Like that would be like
So you're saying basically
gaming apocalypse, like gamer doomsday.
So you're basically saying that they would go a step further to say you're not ever going to you're not even purchasing the rights to play the game. You're never going to
see the files, bro.
You're just going to basically pay a subscription fee to have access into the game.
I could see some publishers doing that.
Is.
Yeah,
in a sense, because you don't really can't download it.
Because like GeForce requires you to buy,
and then it heavily limits your access to it.
GeForce now requires you to buy the game, and then you are part of their free service or their free tier subscription can stream it via GeForce Now, but you have to purchase it, I believe, on GeForce's system.
I thought GeForce it just had a library for you to just go into and actually play those games.
They have a free library, if I remember correctly. Like they have an open library once you have it, but like you can actually purchase games from it, if I remember correctly, and stream those that aren't on their specific library, if I remember correctly.
So sorry, go ahead. I'm just looking at GeForce Now.
I'm trying to understand. Yeah, that just. You're paying for a game that even if you download it without actually being in GeForce, you could never play. Correct? Yeah.
Well, so here it is. It's
so they give you the option. It's kind of like how PlayStation does their remote play. Like you can cloud stream it from like you can either download it, or if you wanted to play it on a remote device, you can cloud stream it to that device. But you have to have digitally purchased it through NVIDIA.
Right. Okay. So you have to select your membership. I'm at their site right now. So you select your membership with what you want to go. You can do paid membership to GeForce Now, get you higher resolution, higher frame rates. So that's hilarious. I mean, I knew it was I knew it was there. I knew it existed, but it's just funny to read that being like, oh, we're gonna fucking take your frame rate away from you. You don't get the frame rate that you want.
Yeah.
They also have real-time ray tracing is in the paid membership benefits, faster access to the network. Extended game session links, so play for hours without interruption.
Run that back. Faster access to the network, right?
Yeah.
So you're paying for tiers of being able.
Yep.
Listen, you see what you just did. Basically, at this point, if there's too many people trying to utilize the server at that point, now I'm screwed out of playing my game. Fuck no, absolutely.
Well, you won't be screwed out of it. There will be a pop-up that says, "Hey, we noticed some pretty bad latency. You can pay a little extra, and we'll give you a priority queue for the next hour."
Here's the thing that I find funny is that you guys didn't even hit on is extended game session links. Play for hours without interruption.
Yeah, no, it's fucked up, man.
And then you have the free membership, which gives you. It's basically. What I love about this is how they explain it to gamers is it says basic rig. So like they're basically being like, yo, you get the free version, but you're gonna get the basic bitch rig model. Like you're gonna get the dusty ass PC. Standard access, 1 hour. So you only get 1 hour game session. And there's ads. If you even go for their premium pricing,
there's ads.
If you go to the premium pricing, which is $99 for 6 months or $20 a month. That is their highest tier that they offer. There's a middle tier that is $10 a month. Their highest tier pricing gives you a RTX 4080 style rig with RTX on, exclusive to RTX 4080 servers, an 8-hour session length, so you can game for 8 hours, up to 4K, up to 240 FPS, and no ads. So
yeah. So my reply to that whole thing is like, I don't think that this isn't really directed at us, right? Like we have rigs. I have a rig that I would rather play on. You have a rig that you would rather play on. You have a Steam Deck that you would rather play on, right? This is directed to those people that don't necessarily want to pay the exorbitant amount, quote unquote exorbitant amount of money to get a 4080 or a 4090, right? And again, if they can get this Orion shit up and running, again, this is entirely on if they can actually do what they're fucking saying that they want to do. Because like I've been reading over this whole article that they posted in 2019. Id Software is promising Orion will deliver twitchy gameplay with imperceptible latency.
Bullshit.
Orion players can live as far away from the data center as possible and still be able to stream Doom and other FPS style games 60 FPS with 4K resolution with imperceptible latency. Bethesda director, publisher, games.
Hey, Bill, what's your thoughts
just
on
like imperceptible 30 FPS, right?
Imperceptible 60 FPS. That's what they're shooting for. 60 FPS, 4K resolution.
Yeah, but I'm just saying Microsoft can't make games above 30 FPS most of the time. So
I'm just saying that's what
the
that's
world
what
can't even get built internet
for.
that's stable enough for the man to stream, and we're over here talking about
and that's true too. 2 megabyte upload.
Like,
yeah,
I don't know if they can get that. Like, yeah, for certain people, it would be worth it. I mean, for me, because I don't own a Steam Deck, I own a Switch. Technically, I mean, I do own a Switch Lite, and yeah, I could play on that. I could play games on that. It's not something that I play on. I mean, it gathers dust. Honestly,
I think you'd actually like having a Steam Deck, bro.
I probably would. I don't go anywhere though. Like if I'm playing a game, I'm already at home, right? If I'm going somewhere,
yeah. What about when you're on the shitter?
Just jailbreak your Switch.
You know,
stick it to Nintendo.
Is what it is. There you go. So it's one of those situations of like, I don't know.
All right,
I can see the good sides of it, but I can also see the bad sides of it. Like you guys are saying.
I see it as a very slippery slope.
Definitely 100%.
We talked about Microsoft and their shittiness and whatever else, and Ubisoft has been in the news forever, and we're going to continue the fucking train with Ubisoft. So there is a lawsuit that alleges that it illegally shared Ubisoft store customer data with Meta. This is actually a very big deal. Like this is a huge deal, and this could huge breach in fact
fucking security, man.
The fucking final nail, like that lets it all go.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like there's a lot of things that the American or the world will like stand for and be okay with, right? Like you can have shitty games at shitty prices and all that kind of stuff, but the moment that you start giving away people's data without them knowing about it, and just in turn like be like, because this is happening, like let's be honest. Like what fucking company is not giving out their data, right?
PPP predicts. I was right. Ubisoft is going out of business. Yep. I was right. My first one. I'm actually happy about this. Is happy. Hold on. Happy but sad. Let me be clear, because I don't want people to jump at me like, oh, he wants to see something wrong. No. I actually want the company to do better. Like they have been putting out shit, and all of these things are compiling on top of each other for all of this to come out now after like 2 or 3 year games just tanked. It's making sense. Making sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is bad though, man. Like Tony, I know that you're kind of in that field of like cybersecurity and everything like that, but like this is huge, man. Like the suite states that they're violating Video Privacy Protection Acts, the Federal Wiretap Act, and the California Invasion of Privacy Act. And the plaintiffs are also stating that both of whom purchased multiple games from the Ubisoft store individually and on behalf of all others similarly situated are seeking financial damages of an order compelling Ubisoft to either get rid of Pixel or obtain consent from its users to share their data. Which is, they already did it. Like
there's nothing to be. There's nothing to fix there.
Like, it's already done, bro. Like,
but like here's what I was saying is that, the thing about it, this stuff already happens all the time. Like your data, like the world.
Well, you look at that. You look at that huge data breach that we had recently, where like pretty much everybody in the United States' fucking bullshit got leaked because of some stupid ass stuff. Yeah, because of some stupid ass fucking background check place that had no reason to have that information. First off,
but what I'm saying is like companies sharing information, sharing data, whatever else. Like what I want everybody to understand, right? And if you don't understand this, you need to understand it very quickly. You are the product. You like anything that you buy, the moment that you go anywhere, the moment that you step into your car, you turn on your phone, you look at something, you say something or whatever else, you yourself are the product and are being sold as such. So, this kind of stuff happens all the time. The big thing is that it's in EULAs. So how they get around it is like, hey, like, we are, not gonna give your stuff away or whatever else, and we're going to make sure that we vet what's happening, and that is in a EULA which you sign, and it's you kind of sign your right away. What the thing here is that they didn't say that, they didn't put it out there, and they did it behind people's back illegally, and then they didn't tell you what they were selling. So that's why people are making such a big deal about this, is being like, hey, you sold our data and got rid of our data and shared our data. without our permission. And that is a huge thing. Like a breach is obviously a huge thing. People don't like breaches, but like when you're giving it away or
the way that I look at it, if you're gonna sell my data, at least give me a fucking kickback on it, man. Like,
right,
give me a piece.
Well, okay. Well, what if the kickback was shutting down XDefiant? Would you be happy with that?
No, I really won't.
No.
Okay,
well, that's good.
I'm in the same. So I'm in the same. I'm in the same route. I'm in the same route as fucking Tony, where I'm like, I don't want Ubisoft to fail, but I want Ubisoft to fail at the same time. I'm like,
they want them to do better.
They need to. I think there's only one way to get Ubisoft back in content. You know, in the straight and narrow, and that's to pull the fucking Final Fantasy 14 plug, and restart everything. Like, burn it all down, boys.
Another thing with this though, right? Is from what I like, remember we discussed all these other projects that they said were supposed to be dropping. I do not with XDefiant and all these other games. I don't know. I really don't know with this lawsuit if this Assassin's Creed is going to drop.
I don't think it will.
I called it, bro. I said the game was not coming out.
I said it last time. I said it last time as well. I really don't.
I understand.
Not just the whole situation. But... like not just all the lawsuits that they're going through. Not just all the issues that they're having with their backers and everything like that. But just the issues that they have strictly with the fucking game, right? The amount of issues they're having with Japan, the amount of issues that they're having with trademark issues on that side, right? I don't think it's gonna release, right? And to get back on track with XDefiant, right? Like the thing that that made me laugh the most, I think, the fucking lead developer, I think is the lead developer, right? Mark Rubin.
Mark Rubin,
yeah. He came out with a statement. He's like, yeah, to be crystal clear, right now, he didn't even say that. He said, to be crystal clear, there are no plans to shut down after season 4. I've literally been in meetings as of last week to discuss our season 2 plans or our year 2 plans, right? I don't know if you remember this, but back when Diablo 4 and the whole, we talked about it earlier, the FTC versus Activision and Microsoft, right? When that whole situation was happening, the lead developer of D4 was asked millions, probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of times, is Diablo 4 going to be on Xbox Game Pass, right? And he came out and said, as of at this time, what was the fucking exact?
He basically said like, no, like it's not coming right now. Like we're not looking at bringing it to Game Pass, and coming out.
He said that there are no plans to bring Diablo 4 to Xbox Game Pass, right? And I said, we all said, or I think me and you said at least, said on the podcast, another PP predicts. We were like, that is bullshit, because as soon as they go to fucking Xbox, as soon as they go to Microsoft, he has no say in it, and that's exactly what happened, right? So I am calling it right now. PP predicts that, and I don't want it to happen because I really do wish the XDefiant would get their shit together and actually like make a good product, right? I'm calling it now. If Ubisoft fucking gets bought out, or even if they don't, he's not in the loop, and whatever the fucking higher ups are saying is what's going to happen.
My question: why do they keep going after XDefiant so bad?
Because it's not doing well. If XDefiant does not do well in the next year, probably, or if this next season doesn't do well, I would not be surprised if that's on the chopping block.
You think they'll blame the gamers for it? You think they'll go in and be like, you know what, you guys started all these rumors about us being fucking shut down and it's your fault.
With the recent shit from Ubisoft, where they basically are like, player base, the shill player, or not the shill player base. What did they say? It was like the politically leaning player base is the reason why we are having so many issues, and we need to just not listen to them. Yeah, 100%. They'll just be like, yeah, we XDefiant did shittily because our player base were terrible people.
Okay, well, let's talk about player bases a little bit. Well, let me ask this, Bill. I mean, you're kind of, you were, in XDefiant. You played some XDefiant. You enjoyed XDefiant. Mm-hmm. I know Scruffy was kind of the main, like, kind of XDefiant. What are your thoughts on XDefiant? And can it survive?
I'm confused by the whole situation myself, because it had like a ridiculously strong launch. I don't know if it was For me personally, I stopped playing because of the technical issues. It wasn't because the game wasn't fun.
That's what a lot of people did. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think that's still fully been addressed. So
as far as
it's on Ubisoft at that point because the game is fun. The game
How
is
long
good.
has that been
There was
out?
obviously a audience for it because it was one of the most popular games out when it released. It's also free to play in a market that is saturated by paywalled shooters. So they had that going for them. Everything was in their court. They just needed to release a stable product and they failed to do so. So
Right.
I don't want the game to fail, but if it's going to fail, it's going to be because Ubisoft isn't fixing what needs fixed. So
that game, XDefiant, has been out for 4 months. It released in May, like late May, like May 21st, if I remember correctly, right? Like May 20th, somewhere around there.
Somewhere
been
around
out
there.
for 4 months, and they have had so many issues and so much drama and so much bullshit surrounding their entire platform, right? That's crazy, man. 4 months. I thought that it had been out for a year.
No.
That's insane.
I mean, it was supposed
Like,
to. It was supposed to have dropped a while ago, but it never,
There's already rumors of it being shut down. That's crazy, dude.
Hey, it lasted longer than Concord. You know. I don't know. I mean, you know what? Bill, you brought up something that I was thinking about today because I was just looking at like player numbers for games like Throne and Liberty and New World and all that kind of stuff, right? And
yeah,
what hit me was almost this like, and we've talked about it before, but it was this wave of almost like sadness and sorrow for a couple things. One, because I want games to be better. Like as gamers, we deserve games to be better when they launch, right? But also because gamers have turned into the fucking EXP blood bags in Vampire of just soaking up shit, waiting for these companies to fucking devour us. Like with just like wanting the next thing and wanting the next thing and wanting the next thing, right? And it's just like you see the players just drop off, right? And even if it's a hit, it just drops to the floor. And it's like, because there's just always something new right there at our fingertips. So it's just like, hey, like this game's really, really popular. Nah, it doesn't matter anymore. We're going to the next thing. Hey, this game's really, really popular. Nah, it doesn't matter. We're going to the next thing. Like, and you see it time
TikTok
and
brain.
time. Yeah, and time again. And it is sad. I mean, again, XDefiant, these games did not launch perfect, right? And, you know, no game launches perfect, but they are, you know, there are some that are better than others. It's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know if a game can survive anymore. Like what is surviving in a post 2024, you know, or 2020 style game? Like, or you know,
I mean,
yeah.
when you say it like that makes sense. That
and
totally
we talked about
sense.
it. We talked about it way earlier in the year. The games that people continue to go back to, like the most played games, are games that are 5+ years old because they are your Minecrafts, your Fortnites, your Warzones, like the tried and true that gained their audience back then. And it's just so hard to punch in and actually claim an audience for yourself these days because there's too many giants already existing.
So I also have a bit of a bone to pick with that as well. Is like we, like you said, we are kind of like we're like self-prophesizing morons as gamers, right? Like we sit here and we're like, I want a good game that I can sink my teeth into. I need a good game that I can sink my teeth into, right? And then we go and play the game and we're like, we're struggling to find things that we don't like about the game. And that makes no fucking sense in some instances. At the same time, it's one of those situations of like, these games are coming out more and more broken as the years go on. So like you kind of can't blame the gamers for being rather petty when it comes to like moving on to another title, because we've literally been trained that, yeah, we're going to go in and play this game for a week. That's all the content it has. Let's go and play the next game until that game that we just left brings out the new content, right? Well, like we've been trained for a long time on that.
I also think that we as a collective 4 and 5 on the podcast are also just as much part of this problem, because think about like what we do as streamers, what we do as content creators. We are literally like the next game, unless you're Tony and you play you play Fortnite every fucking day. But then you're but like literally it is like It's we're like
or Bill
the next game,
or Bill with his Souls
the next game, right? And it's just like we don't even like. And here's the crazy thing: I even internally struggled. Like I am loving Silent Hill 2. I'm enjoying the shit out of that game. But as I'm seeing other games come out, right, and drop stuff, I'm like, I want to go play that. Like, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna stop. I'm getting bored with Silent Hill 2, so I'm gonna go play this, right? And it's like, holy fuck, man, I'm enjoying the shit out of this. Like
Armored Core
for games.
Yeah, dude, I love Armored Core to fucking death. That is a masterpiece of a fucking game, and I grew up playing that game. I've maybe put 4 hours into it. Like,
I will say, motherfucker, I'm still playing Helldivers.
Hey,
I'm still playing Space Marine.
But like, if you look at the community that talks about the gaming space, right, the news, or whatever, they're going to look at Helldivers and go, it's a failure. Or not a failure, but it is failing.
They already have.
Now, again, take out all the bullshit, but like, you just look at like the player, because they're just like the player numbers aren't there, right?
Yeah.
Or you look at Warhammer. Warhammer is a great game. Warhammer 40K, exact same. Literally 2 weeks after the launch, they are going, that game is dead. No. Yeah. The news, the reporting on Warhammer is like, oh, it's dropped 80% of its player base. Well, I mean, okay, but like, I don't know. We're so conditioned to just be like, what's the next thing? What's the fucking next thing? What's the fucking next thing? You know, it's sad.
TikTok brain.
Yep. It is sad. Well, talking about the next thing, if you're a Destiny fan, maybe you can get your next thing and next fix off of this Destiny Rising. Which is
please don't play
hey, NetEase has been doing nothing but dubs recently, though.
I mean, they've been banging it out.
They have.
I'm excited about Marvel Rivals.
I don't know, man. I'm to the point with Destiny that I'm just like, come on. Like you could have done so much with it if you just would have fucking leaned into it a little bit more. But now we're getting in a fucking mobile game. Well, we can't get more content out of Destiny. Like we have to get an entirely new game.
Well, is it so? What is in fact in this? Because they said it's in cooperation with Bungie. It has announced Destiny Rising, a free-to-play mobile RPG first-person shooter game in the Destiny universe. But is this like so? It's honored to partner with Destiny to deliver a Destiny caliber experience to mobile devices. But it doesn't really. There's not really too much talk about.
Well, they
right?
They give you key features down there in the bottom. It's legendary characters in battle, dynamic player versus environment, and player versus player game modes. We really don't know a ton about it.
So
they literally just released the what's called the announcement of it. But
this is not this is just like a side story kind of thing to it.
I think
right?
it's its own story. Yeah, I think it's its own story. It's its own story. It's its own like new characters.
Bro,
as far
Sony
as I'm aware.
He's doing whatever they can to milk the fucking money out of the rest of this.
Well, and that's what I said is it's like I feel like this is really like Sony purchased that, and Destiny did not return, right? Like they spent so much money on it, and Destiny is just not returning. This to me screams Sony's just like, NetEase, do something with it, please. Like this is Sony just being like, what can we do to get a little bit of money, a little bit of a return for this failure of a fucking purchase that we did? You know?
Yeah,
that's fair. I can see that.
And I can understand where they're coming from because I don't blame Sony for doing this. I blame Bungie for failing to fucking do what they should have done for the last, even before they were purchased by Sony with Destiny 2.
But
do
give us some
decent content.
I highly Destiny players are always going to want more story or lore. If they can continue the story, I know a lot of Destiny players that's really into the story. And
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I agree with you on that, but I don't see Destiny players going to a fucking mobile device to play it.
I do. They went to a mobile device for their entire lore pocket because Destiny didn't put it into the fucking game.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, I didn't think about that. That is true. Fuck.
Did they?
I mean, maybe Sony's fucking smarter than I think they are, man. Holy fuck, maybe that's a good deal, dude.
I don't know. Did they put this? Is this being able to be played? Did they say in here if it's able to be played? Yes, it will also support PlayStation and Xbox. So,
but no PC.
I don't know. It just says it will feature both first-person and third-person mode, as well as supported for PlayStation and Xbox and mobile-specific controllers. So well, maybe it's saying you can use mobile like gaming controllers on it. I don't know. Look, mobile gaming is weird to me, man. I'm still that person that's mobile gaming, being like, bro, I'm not playing Candy Crush. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Yeah. I don't. And all those people are like, okay, Grandpa, but I'm playing Genshin Impact. I'm like, go fuck off, man. Genshin Impact's a fucking it's not a mobile game.
It's a big player base, surprisingly. Like I can't remember what the percentages was, but it was a huge percentage of player base like plays exclusively on mobile.
Is it just me? Does that fucking title screen, the way they have the Destiny Rising, does that not give like Genshin Impact vibes? Like I get real Genshin Impact, like the way it looks. Vibes. I'm looking at Genshin Impact's fucking logo screen and I'm like, it's not like one, but I'm like, dude, it's like the Honkai Star Rail, that fucking like gotcha.
I love Honkai Star,
bro.
It's gonna be a gotcha.
I mean,
they could gotcha the hell out of dude. They could gotcha the hell out of fucking Destiny, dude. They
really could,
the shit out of it.
They really
so as of right now, there is no confirmed dedicated PC client for it, but cell phone emulators
you can play BlueStack,
of course,
kind of stuff,
of course,
on there. So, okay, well, we brought up. I know we're at time. We're gonna just a few more articles and we're gonna be done. But I do want to go over something real quick. All right, so Tony, you brought up about when we talked about DRM, we talked about this fucking doom and gloom, futuristic, dystopian world of not owning our games and things like that. Well, Steam and specifically GOG are taking a stand against this and are issuing new disclaimers to everyone that you actually don't own your game. And actually GOG is going in for a fucking, like they said here, a fucking kill shot. Did you guys read what GOG is doing on this?
No, I didn't.
So they are letting, like, click on, like, okay, I'm gonna click on the article. I'm gonna read it for you because I don't want to scroll down here. But GOG is letting you go. And actually, I can scroll down. You guys can see they have a screenshot. Are taking it a step further to say, hey, since checkout banners are trending, we're thinking of putting one up ourselves. Thoughts on this one? And the banner at the bottom, a purchase of digital product on GOG grants you its offline installers, which cannot be taken away from you.
I mean, that sounds like something GOG would do. Like that. GOG is the knight of the knight in shining armor. For
dude, do you know?
Can they actually, like? Is this something that can
I don't
be
think they can legally do that. Yeah,
I don't think that if the publisher, the one who owns the license to the game, wants the game gone, then the game's gone.
Shouldn't. But here's the thing: you shouldn't have to remember them GOG, the license.
Yeah, I was about to say GOG doesn't deal in that kind of stuff. Like the GOG's games are games that have already I can't remember what, it's not statute of limitation, but it's like the licensing on a lot of their games allows them to basically give it away without DRM, right? That's the whole thing with GOG is they don't do DRM and they don't do all that shit. So yeah, technically they could do that. I mean, if they have the license for it, which as far as I know, that's the only way that they can sell those games. They can do that 100%. Yeah.
As a company, you would have to basically just tell it that you don't want it on that actual platform. Like if you don't want it, then don't give it to them. Don't give them the rights. But honestly, they can do whatever they want.
So you're saying that
that's actually really nice
on GOG. Okay, so I didn't know that GOG. I thought GOG was just like Steam in the sense that any game that came out to there came out to GOG as well, but that's not the case, right? So
no, that's not the case. So GOG, let me go and just make sure that I'm not.
I'm like on here like looking like for Space Marine 2, right? And Space Marine 2 is not on here. Yeah, the old Space Marine is on there, but
GOG's entire deal is the whole reason why GOG was put into existence was because the guys over at I'm not going to say that because I don't know exactly if that's the case, but their entire thing is like they have an extensive list of titles that are DRM free. So by that statement, GOG only deals in titles that are essentially you buy them and once you buy them, you have them. That's yours to keep. It's like the step towards physical, but not being physical, right? Like you own technically a digital physical copy. You're owning an NFT copy of the game essentially that can't be taken away from you. Unless GOG goes down. But if that's the case,
it's different. But if
that's the case, GOG is one of those types of places. When you download it, you download everything. It's not like you're downloading the files and then you're downloading a file to be able to launch it. You're downloading the entire files. So like as long as you have the files downloaded on your PC,
they're yours.
Regardless if GOG is there, they're yours. Yeah. So
well, Frostpunk 2's on here, so that's pretty fucking new, and that's on GOG. So
nope.
That's okay. Well, I don't know. I thought this was interesting. I mean it. I had the same question you did, Bill. Was like, can they get away with this? Like, are they able to do this?
So they just pick and choose which. They'll only do the DRM free games. Okay, that makes sense.
So, but it's still, hey, you know what? I think it's fucking dope, and I love the fact that they are coming after the industry somewhat. Do I think it's going to make a difference? No, they're not. The industry is not going to stop.
So this is from 7 years ago. This is a really good way of saying it. So GOG is essentially like Steam. They're a storefront just like Steam, except for the fact that this storefront allows you to purchase video game digitally and are added into your GOG library. The big difference between Steam and GOG is that GOG only offers games that are DRM free. That means that you don't need any additional software or CD keys to play that game. You download the setup files, you install the game, and you go on your merry way. You'll never be buggered to install things like Denuvo. Games will never require an internet connection unless there's a multiplayer component involved. Their launcher is a software called GOG Galaxy that is sort of like Steam. It provides notifications, blah, 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 blah. But it also installs your games more akin to Steam while also installing the actual full files rather than just like a base level file and then a launching code, essentially. So
cool. Okay. All right. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about before we hit up into our quick hits, and then we'll be good. So we were talking about XDefiant, right? And I needed to know when it launched. So I went to look up XDefiant launch on, browser. And, now they've introduced AI to fucking everything, right? And I just want to say that when this one thing got announced, I was kind of hyped about it. But then after doing this, I'm kind of less hyped about it. And also, as I found out more, I'm less hyped about it. But I went in, just so you know, I went in to look up AI of when Google or when XDefiant launched. It told me that XDefiant launched on September 25th, 2024. I'm like, so when I say that, and why that's somewhat scary to me is because, well, Elon Musk wants to have AI robots living in our house, and you can buy them for 20 grand. So he announced the Optimus robots will supposedly
20 grand at the low end.
Be okay, 20 to 30 will be available supposedly by 2026 is the goal. And you will have this iRobot-esque robot in your house. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
No,
I'm waiting to see the speed run of people blinking the robots.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I saw
it. Robo blinking speed run. Let's go.
I saw a meme of it the other day that was like dating in 2024, and it's got the chick over here, and then it's got the dude with his robot walking down the street.
Yeah.
I'm like, pretty much.
Like, okay, so a couple
I
of
don't
things.
like this at all. This is weird.
I mean, when I saw it at first, I was like, bro, this is no shot. Like, this is
some iRobot.
Yeah. Yes, it 100%. And I'm like, the guy's serving the drinks, and then it's just like, oh, have it like the crazy thing. He legitimately, guys, in this thing said, yeah, you can have it watch your kids. I'm like, who the fuck is gonna trust their fucking kids with a robot? Like, I'm not trusting my fucking newborn with a robot.
You'd be surprised who'd allow it.
At the same time, though, they're also trusting their kids when they're driving self-driving in the Teslas.
Hey, leave my self-driving Tesla alone, bro. I use the thing all the fucking time.
I'm just saying, you're trusting an AI when you're driving your family in that.
I don't know, man. But to me, it was kind of crazy to see how this thing, like, supposedly, was functioning. Now, I will say
that was totally a dude in a suit, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't not a dude in a suit, but it was robot. It was controlled, remotely controlled. Yeah.
But what they failed to allude to or to mention was that, yes, the ones that they were showing at the thing were actually like a person in a suit somewhere else controlling it and interacting and interfacing, which in its own right
tell.
It's like
if you couldn't tell that was a person in a suit remote controlling it from someplace else, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, there's no way
that
it was just
that's what I was about to say. There's no way that an AI, if you've been keeping up with AI at all, right, you will know AI is not that advanced to be able to intricately and quickly formulate replies in full sentences when they're asking questions like that. There's no way that was a fucking AI. I don't care how far Tesla has gone on AIs. Right.
Well, it was also too like the inflection. There's a lot of things that gave it away, but
there was a lot of things.
Even that kind of concept is dope because it's like cool. Like I could be at my fucking house sitting and doing that while my robot is doing my job out in the world and I'm controlling it. Like cool, do that. Like that's saves lives, military applications. That's awesome. But I'm just saying, man. Like if this does come to fruition. If this comes to fruition and they can do this shit and it actually can do everything he's talking about, bro, I'm buying one. It's doing my fucking job and I'm playing video games all fucking day. I'm going to become a full-time streamer and let this motherfucker do my work for me.
It's a slippery slope though, dude, because at once you're like, oh yeah, that's great. Now the robot can do my job for me. Why the fuck are they employing you then?
Because I still got to go and I got to turn the robot on. I got to turn that motherfucker on.
But at a certain point, you're not going to have to.
Yeah, well,
or the company's just gonna hire robots to do your job, and then you're unemployed.
That's the slippery slope, man.
I'll be a blood sack for some game.
And you got to look at it like in terms of like, okay, so construction, we turn everything over. Construction goes over to robots. That's a shit ton of people out of fucking jobs that don't necessarily have training to go into another workforce.
So we're gonna move away from that the illegal aliens are stealing my jobs to now them damn robots are stealing my jobs.
Yeah, robots are stealing the jobs. Yeah, no, actually, that's the Orwellian or whatever it is, the fucking dystopian future that we're looking at, pretty much. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately.
All right. So you guys would not be excited about this,
Gary? I am not excited about this.
I'm okay. I got enough cameras in my house. That's
the only thing that I could see this being a good thing is like space exploration. If we could send those into space to start setting up like Mars instead of having
terraforming,
yeah, instead of having fully operational and manned space travel, we could send these guys out. As long as they're able to like repair themselves or we can have connections to them, that would be the only thing that I would be worried about.
Okay, so we're sending a intelligent robot species out to another world to basically that can self-repair so that they can build a civilization to come back and fuck us over. Yeah. Okay. All right.
You're willing to fucking sell your fucking job over to him, my guy.
I mean, at least I still can have control, bro. And from another planet, I can't do shit.
No, because you won't after a while.
I don't know, man. I think I saw this and I was like, "There's no fucking way that this is the fucking."
This is scary in a lot of senses.
We didn't learn from iRobot at all.
So. I'm a little worried about that. And the worst part is that like Tesla is so like gung ho about like being afraid of what AI can become, and then he does that.
Yeah. All right.
What?
Okay. All right, let's move into the quick hit section and we will wrap up this show. So quick hits, these are news articles that are things that we want to bring up, but do not want to talk about to a long extent. If you are a Marvel's Spider-Man 2 fan, you can possibly get that on PC, looking at a January 2025 release date. Huh?
Yeah, it's not possible. It's been.
Well, I'm saying I have a feeling they're going to push it. I think it's going to get pushed. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's very possible.
I think it's going to get delayed. But it is slated for a 2025 January release. I'm excited about this. I have not played that game yet. There is a new game being developed by the Bloober team, which is the people that did the Silent Hill 2 remake, that are looking at a new game called Chronos: The New Dawn. And that is their version of Dead Space. We'll actually show this off next week when we do the show, and we'll talk about it more there. Fractured Online going free to play and reworking its content roadmap in a bid to boost player base. What the fuck is Fractured Online?
So Fractured, we don't really have a lot of time to talk about it. Fractured Online is an old video game that kind of an old MMO that kind of died back when it released, and now they're trying to go free to play and revive the player base a little bit. So
all right, well, hope it works. I don't even know what the fuck the game is. All right, Microsoft got this is actually fucking shitty too. Microsoft got rid of the $1 Game Pass, which has historically been there, so that you could sign up for the Game Pass for the first month for $1, 14 days before the launch of Black Ops 6. Tell me that's not some shit.
Oh yeah.
Microsoft do what Microsoft do, bro.
Yep. Analog has revealed price and specs for the pre-order date of the Analog 3D, which can play your Nintendo 64 games in 4K, but won't support Open FPGA. It will cost $249, and pre-orders begin on October 21st.
Not a bad price.
I have no clue what any of that means.
I'm not spending $250 to play Nintendo 64 games in 4K.
Right? I'll just go buy an old N64, bro.
You don't think $250 is a bad price for a fucking a system that plays games from 15, 20, 30 years ago for fucking and 4K? You can emulate
you
this
literally shit. I was about to say, you literally go buy a Steam Deck and emulate this.
Yeah, but not at 4K.
I guarantee that there's emulators out there at 4K.
You know,
there are, but not on a Steam Deck. You would need a rig to be able to run that, and emulation takes a lot more powerful of a rig than to just play a game natively at 4K.
I'm not spending too much. Good for you.
$240. Yeah, you do what you want to with it, but that's expensive, man, for N64 games.
All right, and last but not least, after a number of canceled projects, Bandai Namco has reportedly been sending part of its workforce to expulsion rooms. Yeah. What the fuck?
This is fucked up. Yeah. Okay. So expulsion rooms. Expulsion rooms are a big thing in Eastern like work culture. Expulsion rooms are basically, they send you to these places and they give you very little to no work, and they basically force you to quit out of either boredom or out of like ridicule, because you're in Asian or in Eastern culture, in Japanese culture and Chinese culture, the workplace is a very proud place, right? So like if you're not pulling your weight in the workplace, you are openly mocked and ridiculed for it. So they're sending people into these expulsion rooms to make them quit, or to basically
shame them into accepting like a severance package instead of just getting to be able. It's very fucked up.
They're known as banishment rooms. They're called
banishment rooms. Yep,
odashibeya in Japanese. And it's a method of dismissal of employees by some Japanese companies, including Bandai Namco, to circumvent the country's strict labor. Bro, let me tell you something right now. You'd be amazed at how long I can sit there and be fucking bored out of my mind if you pay me. Bro, there ain't no fucking shot I'm quitting. I'd be like, fucker, y'all gotta fire me. You gotta drag my ass out of here. You can ridicule me all day long.
But that's the Western in you, right? Like the Eastern culture, when it comes to like work culture, is extremely fucking proud.
And they will bend and fold and quit themselves instead of
ain't no
it's
fucking
crazy, man.
way. I get on this show and do this show for free to get ridiculed by you motherfuckers. What the fuck are you talking about? I get paid to get ridiculed? Shit, sign me up. I'm down. All right, shit. There we go. All right, well,
fuck you, Bandai Namco.
Episode 140 is wrapped up in the books. Hope you guys enjoyed this special Friday night episode of the show. We will be back to our normal times, barring that nobody has a birthday that they need to celebrate or something like that. But we should be back to our normal time on Thursdays, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, over here on YouTube and Twitch. If this is your first time here, well, you can join us live. Like I said, on YouTube and Twitch. You can also check out any of our other your podcasting apps. You can go to TikTok. We're on X. We've got a Discord link. You can email us. There's so many places that you can get in touch with us. Also, you can go check out all of our streamers and all of us on Twitch and or YouTube. You've got Hey Tony with 5 Ys. You've got Billy_the_squid. You've got Enigmatical Gaming over on YouTube. Scruffy isn't with us, but Agent Scruffy on Twitch and YouTube, and obviously myself, S1N3N on Twitch and YouTube as well. Guys, for the entire podcast crew, thank you. Love everybody.
Happy weekend.
Be awesome. Have an amazing weekend, everybody.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Game out your ass.
We'll play some games.
Right. Yeah. All right. We out of here. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, boys and girls.
Peace out, everybody.